you go. Feel a little scratchy today. Not sick at all. But just a little scratchy.
Some stuff in the air.
Something. I wish it was the freezing cold that was in the air, but it's not. It's warmth and something scratchy. Doesn't keep me from making these picks. We're good. I do have, Tom, I did the thing where I got the picks to you, and then I also realized the slate, because of a lot of the stuff in the NFL, is awesome. I got a lot. Now, not just whatever. I think I gave it a bonus game here today. I gave it an 11 instead of 10. But I have – this thing is all messed up. Does that sound better? Is that good? Or is that poppy?
You are centered.
What do you guys get to hear that? That's the sound of a windbreaker.
That's the sound of in 2013, Mary and her husband packing up the car, going back to Raleigh.
Back in the day when we trounced teams. That's what that is, Tom. Back in the day. Man, a lot of nice folks out the gates in the chat. It's kind of, I don't spend a lot of time in there because it distracts me. Sometimes I have it up at the beginning of the show. Tom will throw me a question or something like that. But a lot of you, thank you. Good day to all of you. And thanks for listening. Appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys enjoy the show. I'm glad that you're here. We need to get over on Martha. Together. Did you double check? I think I was average to below average last week. I think I got to double check it. We'll do it during the break. We'll come back and
I can wipe it up now if you want to review it.
But we won't be able to because there's some team totals and things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of totals and props and stuff. So we'll do it during the break, and then I'll have a good handle on everything, and we'll be good to go. I do know this. It's a tough week in college and a tougher and an easier stretch, I think, to seize upon some things in the NFL. I should also note at the outset of the show today, guys, that after the show today, not long after even, at 5:30, we'll have an interactive happy hour. P. Simpson, I hear you, man. I kind of like Syracuse to knock off Pitt as well. In my private world, I'm leaning Syracuse. I see you got them on the money line, and I'm pretty close to with you on that. I feel good about that. Pitt's been kind of skating by. No chance that they need to. What are we doing? Undefeated. Did you realize? So West Virginia is not having a good football season. Tom, the combined record of the teams that West Virginia has lost to this year is 25-1. So their fans are mad. The Garrett Green kids from Tallahassee, the quarterback at West Virginia, and the West Virginia fans are frustrated because they've lost a few now, and they're not having the kind of season they thought they were going to have. And I was reading an article, and afterwards he was talking about some of the frustrations they feel, how they've been pretty good here, but not as good here, and all that stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. Did I see that right? Let's see. They lost to Penn State, undefeated. They lost to Pitt, barely. Pitt's undefeated, which is kind of ridiculous. They lost to Iowa State. Iowa State's undefeated. And your odds-on champion of the Big 12 right now. Probably. And they lost to Kansas State last week. I think leads the team in rushing, leads the country in rushing right now. Kansas State has one loss. My man is, he's answering calls about their frustration of losing. He's like, yeah, the teams combined that we've lost to have lost once. Once.
What do you want? It's Murderer's Row.
He's like, yeah.
I didn't see it coming either.
Oh, man. It just made me laugh. Now I notice that the fan base, myself included, we are all in a constant search. Might you be the savior? I see you over there at UNLV kicking ass. Let me look into you. Oh, there is a connection. Let me look over here. What's going on at Boise? What's going on over here at Indiana with Signetti? What's going on over here? Yeah, and soon you've got a list. Yeah, and I did encourage all of you to make the lists. Not haphazard based on total offense or average scores. I want you to dive deep. Corey just takes a cursory glance at the coordinators that are on teams that are scoring points and says that should be the next one at Florida State. And I laugh at him for that. I think you should do the deep dive.
He makes an appearance every day on this show. I'm sensing a pattern.
No. Lately he has the last 2 days because he's screaming from the mountaintops that this coordinator from Pitt should be Florida State's coordinator or UNLV's coordinator should be the guy. And I'm like, oh, come on now. Let's everybody chill out. Let's take a good long look at all of the coordinators and where they're at and not this guy this year is having a good season, but what's he done previous? Because I would tell you if you did that, you'd go find a bunch of really good seasons by a guy named Mike Norvell, who's currently looking as inept as an OC can possibly look. Mike Norvell had a lot of great seasons until he didn't. And now you're like, well, don't think he knows what he's doing. 2 years ago, you thought he was a genius. Now he's a moron. The number one thing that I've learned in 26, 27 years of doing this, it's not plays, man. All of them know the same plays. They all know the same plays. They all know the same offense. They all know it. They all know spread. They all know air raid. They all know pro style. They all know every offense, and they all know every defense. Every defensive coordinator knows every offense. Every offensive coordinator knows every defense. They've all seen it, and they all know it, and they could recite it. They could go back through and tell you the hows and whys, the origins, the whole kit and caboodle. It never is about the plays or the concepts. It is always about taking that knowledge, assessing your players, your team, what you have, implementing the things that will work best for that skill set, and then not only applying what you know, but teaching it in a way that is easily consumed, easily digested, and regurgitated with ease on the field under pressure at speed. How quickly can I get you to understand what I already know? How quickly can I teach you to implement the things that I already know and am now teaching you? How soon can you do those things and do them well and do them fast? And if you can't do that, you could have all of the knowledge in the world, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. You could be a walking genius when it comes to the X's and O's and a bad coach. Jimbo Fisher had that happen to him. You and I have said many times on this show that I doubt we'll ever come across anybody who knows more about football than Jimbo Fisher. So you might say, what happened? Well, there's a whole hell of a lot more to being a head coach than knowing plays, knowing concepts, or running a certain scheme.
Certainly nobody will be able to, I think, in the history of college football, share more knowledge in fewer seconds. That guy will get you up to speed in mere moments, nanoseconds.
Oh, it's really impressive. And then he ran the slowest pace in the country with better players. And that's a simple example of how it can happen, how you can just, it's not that you don't have the understanding, the knowledge, and the means. It's that your players aren't executing, nor are you choosing at all times the right thing to do in the situation. You can have the knowledge, applying, assessing, teaching. It's all got to happen, man. And Mike's in the midst of a whirlwind, a storm of overwhelming confusion, I'm sure, right about now. This had to have caught all of him, or all of this has had to have caught him, I should say, completely off guard. Doesn't matter. I'll get back to that later. We've done plenty of rehashing of all of that. We got picks. None of that matters when it's about the gambling. Boise State -3 against UNLV. UNLV gets the comeuppance. Boise State's good. Really good. Virginia Tech minus 10 against Georgia Tech. I'm suspicious of some Georgia Tech issues with health, in particular at quarterback, but also in general. I don't think that team's very good, which makes me angry that we lost to them to start the year. BYU plus 2.5. What? Okay, this feels so much like the NFL sucker. The NFL sucker bet.
You want to take that bet?
I'm going to take that bet.
Okay.
I'm going to take BYU plus 2.5 against UCF.
You go ahead and do that.
I will do it. This isn't the NFL. This is college. It screams sucker bet. I don't know. When I first saw the line, I went, what the hell am I missing? I'm not a big Gus Malzahn guy. I'll tell you that. At least not this iteration of Gus. I bet against them last week when I took Cincinnati at UCF. Cincinnati won that game, Tom, 19-13, as I thought they would.
Well, it's about the year they played it in, at least when you watched it.
I took Florida to beat UCF. I thought they might win soundly. They did. Colorado housed UCF. I don't know, man. Not seeing a lot from UCF that makes me feel very good at this point. I'll go ahead and take the sucker bet that is BYU catching points. Is there a rash of injuries that I haven't read about somewhere at BYU?
Is there a caffeine outbreak?
Is there something going on where they're boozing it up in Utah? Game's at UCF, so it may not matter. Iowa minus 14 against Northwestern. I don't know how Northwestern's going to score. Navy's defense isn't good. They're a fun team and a pretty fun offense. I would just hazard a guess here to go over on the total there as well, but instead I took Notre Dame over 31.5 for their offense.
Interesting. A lot of running clock, but I see you working.
Yeah, they're going to score. They're going to score. What did Memphis drop on Navy in a loss? They scored 45 points or something like that in a loss to Navy.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Give me Bowling Green under 46 points. That's too many points for Bowling Green. Not going to happen. I like once a year finding 2 or 3 Bowling Green games to bet. This one jumped off the page at me. I went under their total. NFL. This has been good to me this year. Go find the game that lights you up when you look at it. When you go, ooh, this is going to be an offensive slugfest. Couple of those this week in the league. One of them is Cincinnati versus Philadelphia. Ain't nobody stopping nobody in Cincinnati versus Philadelphia. We'll take the over the 48. We'll take Joe Burrow to throw for more than 259 yards. We'll take Jalen Hurts to throw more than 225 yards. We'll take A.J. Brown at over 73.5 yards receiving. We'll take Jamar Chase over 74.5 yards receiving. Over the over. And probably take some T. Higgins over too in my personal life. Let's just keep it rolling, baby. Everybody's going over in that Cincy-Philly game because those two defenses are butt cheeks. Whole bunch of cheeks out there on defense for these two teams. So there we go. That's where we're at. Winners. Just flying off the page. At least in the NFL.
Your new middle name is Over.
I'm cashing tickets with these overs, man. It's been Vegas is struggling to catch up on the over train in the NFL, and it's because we've had severity. We've had the whole weird, that this is like it started so slow, nobody could throw a touchdown pass the first 3 weeks of the season. Everybody was worried that defenses had greatly caught up to offenses and that the pendulum was swinging back the other way after years of having offense lead the way because of the rules changes and all that. And we're like, oh, man, defenses have figured it out. Because that's the league, by the way. The NFL does do that. Comes in waves. Offenses get ahead of defenses. All of a sudden, there's some sort of new thing that's happening, newfangled thing that people have fallen in love with. Defenses begin to scramble. Usually begins and ends with where you place the safeties. It's truly how it begins and ends. But then defenses are like, oh, yeah, you know what? I figured out we could do this to slow that nonsense down. Then offenses go, oh, you're on to us. And then it's copycat league. And following year, the offense is like, oh, well, that's what you want to do? You don't want to play you're just going to keep playing too high, are you? Okay. Looks like we're going to be running the ball. And then it comes back around. On and on we go.
T-minus 15 years for the West Coast offense to be in vogue.
It'll be brand new. There was this thing back in the day called the West Coast. I think we can spring it on them now.
But they'll credit that coach 15 years from now with inventing it.
Yeah. That'll be a hard one to do because nobody ignored the contributions of one Bill Walsh. I mean, like, people aren't immune to recognition of Bill Walsh.
Yes, but people age out, they die, and then, the younger people have no idea, and then you have to be the old man at the party and say, oh, nonsense.
This has been going on for years.
Bill Walsh did this back in the 80s. Okay, Jeff, in the 80s. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
what were tape decks like?
They were as effective as Bill Walsh's offense that you're now falling in love with, pal. Actually, the tape deck was never that effective because invariably one of your machines, either in the car or the boom box or one of the sorry little recorders that you had, would eat your tape. And then you would panic when you heard it go, and you'd click stop. You'd pull the tape out. You'd get your pencil quick. And you might be able to salvage it. And you'd wind it. Oh, I think I got it. I can untwist it. We're going to be good here. Sometimes you had to pull more out in order to put back in. And did you all do this? Almost like a harmonica. You take the tape. You sucked out the tape. You pulled out the tape by sucking out like you would poison. And then from there, you straightened it out. And then you wound the tape. And you're like, back to normal now. But I got my eye on you, tape machine. You eating the tape, son of a bitch. And that's what you'd do. And then you'd play it again. You're like, we good? We back to normal? We're done eating tape around here? And you'd listen to that. You're like, oh, we're good. We're good. It was just a little weird flippity-doo, but we're going to be okay. And then a month later, tape would screw up again. And you'd go, this is ridiculous. I just bought that tape.
Hey, Tanner, did you bring the Family Feud floppy disk? Let's put it in the computer and play.
The good thing about the floppy disk, while we're on the subject, is that you could copy floppy disks if you had people who understood the deal on how to copy floppy disks. So when Karateka came out and your buddy had Karateka and you couldn't afford Karateka, see me, you called him and said, Adrian, heard you got the Karateka on floppy. And he'd say, I do. Knowing what you were about to ask next. It's illegal, Tom. Not everybody wanted to break the rules or the law back then. Some people keep it close to the vest. They don't want to share the technology that they've invented.
Was Adrian?
Well, everybody called him AD, but his name was Adrian.
AD, there aren't enough quarters in the Miss Pac-Man machine. I really need your help on this one.
So then AD would give me the floppy on the down low in the halls at middle school, and he'd say, here's the floppy, man. Don't tell people I do this. I'd come home, and Karateka was mine. I'd call my buddy Chris Sturgeon, got Karateka. Who'd you get it from? Don't worry about that. We've got Karateka. I was loyal to AD. I wasn't going to let Chris know that I had Karateka on the floppy. Just that Chris was free to come over and play Karateka against me on the floppy.
Well, the statute's over. You can let it out now.
Yeah, well, I have. Just now to everybody. It was AD. AD was forever copying games for me. Later on, what was the one with the ostrich? And you'd hit him and you'd get an egg. Remember that game?
Was that
Joust? It was Joust.
Joust.
We stole Joust on the floppy too. Joust kind of sucked. Overrated game. I'd like to play Joust right here, right now. But Joust at the time, people loved Joust. I'm like, I don't know about this Joust. It's not as good. Track and field turned out to be better than Joust.
Hated that game.
The pencil. Did you know the pencil trick?
Yeah, I always got smoked because I was too young compared to my siblings.
Oh, well, they're too strong, too fast. That's just unfortunate. You were just too young. Bowling alley, Tropicana Lane, St. Petersburg. Buddy, I mashed the bejesus out of those buttons. Let go. That's a jump right there, baby. That's going to be the long jump that wins it. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Sellers, are you stuck between wanting to sell your home and waiting for rates to fall? Are you worried about the contingency of having to sell your home? What if you didn't have to? With a 2-1 rate buy down, you can lock in a lower interest rate for the first 2 years of your mortgage and get the home you want now, all while having a higher chance to buy that next home with the contingency of selling yours. If you wait for rates to fall, you risk more competition, sellers less likely to wait, and paying more for that next property. If you're stuck, we need to talk. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. That's 954-369-6171. And don't forget, for every loan we close for our fellow Noles, I will personally donate $250 to the Battle's End.
Equal housing rent. NMLS number 373031.
Hey, Noel fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants, and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Hi, this is J.L. Dunbar. I want to tell you why I'm supporting Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, and I hope you will too. For more than 20 years, I've known Robert Churchill to be a good neighbor, a loving father and husband, a business owner, and a respected attorney. In fact, everything I've seen tells me he'll make a great Leon County Judge. Vote Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge.
Paid for and approved by Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
Honey, I'm home.
We're in here, honey.
So why are all my friends here?
Have a seat, Dave. We need to talk about your problem.
Problem? I don't have a problem.
Dave, you do have a problem. A problem with your grill. Here's some pamphlets from Hearth and Patio. They are waiting for your call to help you upgrade your grill.
If you or someone you know needs a grilling intervention, call Hearth and Patio today at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Science-packed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I think I'm going to add to the wager here. I think we're going to go over 47.5 for Evan Ingram this week as well. If you want that one, Brian Thomas has been a really nice play in fantasy. I think that's turned into the Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas show. I do believe that, again, I'm not kidding about all those overs in the Cincinnati-Philadelphia game. There's some others that are intriguing me that I'm kind of going to mix and match during the course of the show. I'll float them out there to you as we go along. You know, it's a weird game, and it's a damn shame we got screwed out of it because I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play. Chicago, Washington would have been awesome. The two quarterbacks, 1-2, the whole thing. I don't think Jaden's playing.
I didn't realize he was hurt.
Oh, busted up ribs, buddy. Busted up ribs. It's a long season. You can't, and ribs hurt. Like, that's not one of those things when people are like, well, you just play. Quarterbacks turning, throwing, busted up ribs.
There was a prop that you should keep your eye on for the Buccaneers injury report. So Bucky Irving was on the injury report and didn't participate yesterday. He had a toe injury. I'm sure it's turf toe.
Yeah.
But
shoot it up.
Yeah, right now, clearly Vegas doesn't think he's going to play, but keep an eye on the Hard Rock app because 65 rushing yards over for Bucky Irving pays out 4-1. 4-1 on over 65 rushing yards, or 65 plus, actually. So if he starts participating in practice, look, man, I'm not saying I think it's a surefire over. I would say that number's not ridiculous to be an even money over. But if you're going to give me 4.5-1, if he runs for 65 yards, I mean, anytime he touches the ball, he can go for 40. Just keep an eye on it.
I would also tell you, by the way, that that the Falcons-Bucks game has a lot of potential for overs across the board. I know the Bucks are all banged up. They're not going to just stop throwing. So you can get some bargain basement numbers on a Sterling Shepard. You can get some, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to keep throwing, and they trust each other. Well, they played at Oklahoma, and so there's all of that. But you know, all of a sudden, Cade Otton's numbers go up because I know I'm not a Cade Otton guy either, but his numbers go up now because you got to find people you trust, and you're without your top two players. It's toughy, but you are, and the season's not going to not be played, and you have to try to find a way to muster a win. In particular this weekend, because it doesn't matter that it's not great, but it doesn't matter you lost the Ravens game. It matters that you got hurt. And it won't matter that you're going to lose the Kansas City game. And, you know, to an extent, it won't even matter as much about the San Francisco game. You're trying to, like, win the division at 9-8. That's what you're trying to do. If you can do that, you're in the playoffs again. And hell, last year when the Bucs made the playoffs, they won a playoff game, stomped Philadelphia, and came this close to upsetting Detroit on the road. So get in the dance.
Well, if you win this weekend, you're staring at 10 or 11 wins if everything breaks right for you. Like, you know, because you've proven that you can run the ball. Now, this will be a different level of test because you don't have the fear of what Evans and Godwin can do. But you've proven that you can run the ball with 3 different backs, 3 different styles. You're just going to have to be that way, and your defense is going to have to be markedly better. So we'll see.
Really quick, too, if you want to have fun with overs, and I know overs are really public, but there's been a method to my madness that has little to do with the belief that everything hits over the way the public tends to bet. I think the Yankees-Dodgers World Series, which begins tomorrow. First of all, we could have started this thing a little earlier, but Yankees-Dodgers begins tomorrow. That might be the only game of the series where I won't take the over. It's not an automatic play tomorrow. I'm leaning over in that game, but that's the only non-automatic play because you have 2 legitimate starters. Everything else is kind of like,
but it's Flaherty, right?
It's Flaherty.
So that is a coin flip. Because he was a tale of 2 pitchers in the National League Championship Series.
He was
unhittable, and then dear God awful.
Yeah, he imminently hittable and not hittable as well. So that's like I'm telling you, that's why I'm easy does it. That's Garrett Cole, Jack Flaherty. That's legitimate starters out there. Again, I'm not telling you. Fine, Tom's betting every over. I'm betting overs throughout the series is my point, and I think it's going to go 7 games.
I think you're going to get a chance to say fake ace on Monday. That's why.
Well, I hope so. I hate both franchises, so it doesn't really – I'm not going to be, like, rooting for anybody. I'm going to be rooting for my bets to cash. But old fake ace who went on to win a World Series with Houston and not be a fake ace it'll be interesting. Yeah, and then you have undecided, which is basically a bullpen game, and Yamamoto. So it's strange to me. You have 2 $300+ million payrolls, 2 of the 3 highest payrolls in all of Major League Baseball, and neither team really has any depth of pitching to speak of. It's like it shows you how hard it is.
It's really hard because the Dodgers did run up the tab, and you're saying they have too many starters.
Well,
and
they don't have a one.
No. They've got so many strikeouts and so many zeros on the board just sitting there on the IL. Got a lot of good pitchers on the IL.
Lucky for them, they also have a bullpen that apparently can't be hit.
We
for
tried
long stretches at a time.
Did our best.
It's amazing. But the game has gone into a bullpen game. That's what's happened to the game. I know this is a little inside baseball, but we're sports guys. We love sports. We like to see the trends in sport. We like to see what happens. And baseball's got a chance for the first time in a long time. I think you got to go back to, well, anytime the Red Sox are contending, the Cubs are contending, you get very public teams. The one year it was almost about to be Red Sox Cubs. I believe that was the year the Marlins won it. Those numbers do huge. The anticipatory, and that's back when those curses existed, though. But both the Cubs and Red Sox have subsequently won it, of course.
Would have been
case
Cubs
of the Red
Yankees.
Sox multiple times. Yeah,
it would have been Cubs Yankees in 03 because Beckett had that complete game shutout in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
Cubs Yankees would have raided through the roof.
But at the time, remember though, didn't the Yankees beat the Red Sox to get there?
I was there for Game 7 of that.
So what I'm saying is, I do think that the anticipation of 100-year curses meeting in the World Series would have been incredible. That would have been the highest rated World Series. So
somebody's got to break a curse,
right?
Yeah,
they would have loved to have sold that. And anyhow, as it worked out, I mean, the Red Sox ended up kicking down the door and then some. But if you have the potential of something like that, the ratings go through the roof. This is the highest rated series they could possibly get. Dodgers, Yankees, highest rated series they could possibly get. Two biggest media markets in the world, best two teams, two of the three largest payrolls, and the biggest superstars in the game going head to head, while simultaneously playing well off of incredible, all-time great years. So it's all-time great players, future Hall of Famers, having Hall of Fame seasons going head to head. It's going to be an international. It'll rate higher in Japan than it does here. Those ratings are through the roof in Japan, not just because of, obviously, Shohei, but baseball is huge in Japan, and they love American baseball. So these numbers will be massive because they also love stars. So does America. Baseball could carry the day against football on a Monday night, and then later on in the week, it has a chance to do it too. If the series goes on 7 games like we hope, they got a chance to do something baseball hasn't done in 15 years, 10 years at least.
It's going to pull monster numbers. Now, the thing is, the numbers it will pull won't be anywhere close to the top flight of NFL numbers, but it'll be close. 12 million, 15 million.
If you get to 15 million, to 15, you can beat Monday Night Football with Steelers Giants.
Yeah, sure.
And the problem, actually baseball gets a little unlucky because the Steelers are one of the biggest brands, most public teams in all of the NFL.
But on the other side of it, the New York market's not going to be watching Monday Night Football.
Not going to be watching
the
Giants.
You're going to consume half of it because if it was Steelers and Bears, you'd be in worse shape. But it's Steelers Giants, so you
worst thing that could happen to you would be Steelers Cowboys.
right.
Baseball would be way down the.
But I trust me, man. Just from a straw poll of what's going on in Rockaway, yeah, man, there ain't nobody watching the Giants on Monday night.
Well, they shouldn't. We're going to go watch Danny Dimes. We're going to watch a team in the World Series.
Rogers.
Yeah.
They've got 4 TVs.
Every one of them is on the baseball.
Think one of them's going to be on the football.
I have to put one. You got to put one. 3 can be on baseball. No. Some sorry TV in the corner.
They got the internet one up in the corner. I think that's the one that's going on.
I mean, it still draws. People are still going to want to know what their fantasy football team is doing. They're still going to. They're going to. Besides, how do you not tune in to Russell Wilson, Danny Dimes?
I won't do it for you.
No, thank you. Don't do it. I can't do it. Did you hear him before the game last week?
Oh, you're tempting me.
Did you hear him before the game?
No.
Oh.
Was he talking about limits?
No, he didn't do that, but he was the same character. He was the same character, and he was all in on that character.
He's talking about the Danger Russ rap?
No, he was just talking about, we got to block it out. It's a big opportunity tonight. And you're like, Jesus, man, you're at 11. Let's turn it down to 4. It's your first start of the year. You don't have to do this. I felt like during the week, me and the fellas came together. Jesus, Russ. Do you not hear yourself? I don't know how somebody doesn't pull him aside. Like, stop it. Stop it. You're a caricature of the thing that you think that people want to hear. Stop this. It's not genuine in any way. It's the same as like LeBron and Bronny playing in a game together. It's not genuine in any way. That kid shouldn't be in the league. The whole world knows it. He's not good enough to make a G League team. But here we are. We're supposed to celebrate that?
The end of The Informant with Matt Damon. Well, you see, stop. Stop. You're caught. You're in a lie. Stop. Well,
nope. You stop it right now. Pitchy Pitty Pools and Spas has everything you need for pool maintenance: chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they got it. Of course they do. And if your broken-ass tub needs to be hauled away, then what you have is a group that will come and do it and give you some money for it. It's a wonderful thing. They'll make it easy for you, and they'll put that money towards your brand new hot tub. You're saving left and right. It's very affordable to do these days. They even have the 5-seater, my man. For you swingers out there, the 5-seater is on sale. Pitchy Pitty Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how. It's over off of Greer Road. Check them out.
Your local news now.
Authorities report multiple people were injured in a crash that occurred on U.S. Highway 231 in Jackson County, just north of I-10. A couple from Cottondale were in a sedan waiting at a stop sign on Barber Road. The driver went to make a left turn into the southbound lanes of 231 when the car was hit by an SUV that was going north. Both passengers of the sedan, a 79-year-old man and a 68-year-old woman, had minor injuries. The driver of the SUV and one of the 7 passengers, all from Dothan, also had minor injuries, but one of the passengers of the SUV, a 27-year-old man from Dothan, sustained serious injuries. 5 young passengers ranging between ages 1 and 8 did not receive any injuries in the crash. Early voting is officially open in Leon County. Saw record-breaking numbers. Over 10,000 people cast their votes in person Monday for the upcoming November election. Many people sent in their early votes with over 29,000 mail-in ballots across the area. This is Rachel Lenny with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 87 this afternoon. Under sunny skies, winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 62. Daytime highs approaching 88 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Dry Saturday and Sunday under clear skies with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 79 degrees.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping.
Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps.
Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors,
and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless.
Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
I've never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
We actually had some fun with the Warchant report yesterday. That is up on the website, I believe. Either today. Did it go up yesterday, today?
Today.
It went up today.
Today.
I should ask you specifically. You time these things out, right? You're the one who decides when they go up and when they don't.
Sometimes. Depends on the project. But yeah, today was it was ready to go around lunchtime.
All right. I figured as much. It was a lot of talk about how that game will be shaped or framed during the broadcast. Not about strategery, Tom.
I didn't think so. You guys get into, break down the 3 key players on Miami's roster on each side of the ball?
No. Well, we were already entrenched in the, okay, so from here, what kinds of things, that kind of conversation, as you might suspect. What are you going to do?
My score prediction was the shortest in report history. It was just a sigh, a number, and that was it.
What was the number for Miami points? That's I don't care.
41, I think.
41. Okay.
Yeah.
41. I think I said 51.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think they get into the 50s. Could be wrong. They may just want to run the ball. Something that I was thinking about is the reason that the reason that you can feel that sense of dread of what's going to happen is not just because of Florida State's play, but because I think you could look both stylistically and motivationally. You could see where, obviously, if you are Mario, you would be wise, I think, to run it up, quite frankly. The same way I would be saying if the tables were reversed. If Florida State was in a position to do to Miami what Miami's in a position to do to Florida State as they are now, and both these teams have been in this position before where one is well ahead of the other in the current iteration. I have always said, going back to Bowden years to where, every Miami coach that's come through, you name it, that when you get a chance in this state to absolutely pummel rivals, you should. To the degree that it gets uncomfortable. If you can, you should. Now, you don't throw caution to the wind, meaning you got your starters out there in a 40-point game, in a rivalry game, and you're still throwing the ball around, guys get hurt. That's when knees get taken intentionally. And that's where if I was on the other side of it and we're down 47-0 and you threw a pass with 3 minutes to go in the game, I would start hurting people. That's the kind of petty I am. But I do think that you push it right up to that line. Absolutely you do. Because you have to send messages in recruiting. The only time this year Miami's been in a position to run up the score was against Florida in Gainesville. And they did. And they should have. And then they went and talked trash to the recruits, which they should have. I hate it that that's the position we're in, but that is the angle that I think Miami fans certainly, will be taking. And I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Mario, and this is not a shot at Mario, I say a guy he played in the rivalry. He played in this rivalry. He would have what a lot of coaches in this rivalry don't have, which is real hatred. Having been in it, having fought those battles, you would have a real sense of what that is. So Florida State's got to show up. You got to buckle up and play your ass off, and you should do that anyhow. But you really have to do it if you want to avoid complete humiliation, because I don't think they're going to let off the gas.
Saddest thing I can say, well, there are a lot of sad things I can say, but the saddest is that of Miami's 5 remaining opponents, we are probably their second easiest if you're just talking about resume, because they play us.
Well, they passed their biggest test last Saturday.
Yep. They host Duke.
That's a whitewashing.
They play Georgia Tech.
Beat down.
They host Wake Forest.
Beat down.
And they close with their toughest game remaining in their schedule at Syracuse,
which is a potential landmine disaster.
Or they've clinched the ACC championship game and,
Yeah, but I'll tell you this much, Tom. You've got a problem on your hands if you go up there and lose to Syracuse, because that means a loss in the ACC championship game to Clemson and you don't make the playoffs.
This is true. But they should take it lightly. Hop on the plane. Don't care. No big deal.
I can't wait for the Syracuse-Miami game, frankly. It's the kind of game Miami would lose. It's the kind of game where you're like, what do we have here? Tied at 23 in the third, I see. That's the kind of game it is. It's weeks from now. I'll live in the here and the now, and we'll talk about what's left to accomplish with Florida State in this game. Could this be a Kickstarter to something you do feel good about by season's end? Might you get a performance from a young player in a game in which you're thoroughly outmatched, and you walk out of it knowing that the result was always going to be upsetting and frustrating and, predictable, but you kind of latch onto a few things? Because, again, it's so much easier for all of us to do. And we do this, all of us do. If you're a college football fan, you do this. You are a fan of the game. You have a team, but you are a fan of the game. That's why you tune in to Texas, Georgia. It's why you tune in to Oregon, Ohio State. It's why you tune in to any number of middling, quote-unquote, games. Maybe it's why you tuned in to Kennesaw State pulling off the upset last night over Liberty.
Holy cow. After a cover last week, they got a win.
That's amazing for them.
That number was 27.5.
That's gross. If you're a Liberty fan, you are like, oh, are you kidding me? We lost to something called Kennesaw State. Really?
Liberty dies.
Liberty died
on a Wednesday night in Kennesaw.
Yeah, it made for a joyous midweek occurrence. It's always easy to root against Liberty. But the funny thing about that is you watch those games because you care about overall college football. And how many times have you been watching a team that you care nothing about, don't even like maybe, and you're like, oh man, I think they got a little something going there, and they're mired in a 3-3 season, or they're 3-4, and you tune in and you're like, man, I saw that quarterback play earlier this year. He's pretty good. They may have something going into next year. Like, that's what you do. That's how you project the season after the next, is when you go, yeah, they're not good right now, but I think that coach has got them playing hard. And I like this guy, and this guy, and they're all coming back next year. You do it all the time. I hate that we're doing it right now, that we're about to be doing it right now for the rest of the way. Yeah, this team's terrible. They got little chance to win games against anybody with a pulse. But I like this kid here and that kid there. And you know what? They got a little something they can build around right here. That's the kind of conversation you hope like hell you're having when this all ends, when this nightmare is over.
Doesn't feel like it's going to be over for a little while, though.
We got the rest of the year.
Yeah, but you'll know in December. The thing I go back and forth of what's the most important thing to come in December. We spoke on the phone this morning about how busy that month is going to be, and oddly enough, how much energy there's going to be in December. Legitimate energy.
Oh, it's a busy time anyhow.
You're going to be provided clarity, though. A little bit more clarity on what you're working with. There's the export and import market for the coaching staff, but then also the players. Who wants to hang around here? Like, what players over the next 5 games that we watch that might show a glimmer of hope or give us a glimmer of hope? Are they sticking around? Or are they doing that to better their tape, and then they're going to take a nice deal somewhere else at another power institution? A couple months from now, we're going to know who amongst them decide that, hey, I'm sticking it out here. We're going to flip this thing. Because those guys end up becoming beloved. Just like the kids that helped hoist the trophy last year in Charlotte, just like we look at LaMarcus Joyner and Timmy Jernigan and James Wilder and all those guys from Jimbo's transition. Oddly enough, these guys are already on the roster, which is why it's so different in this day and age about college football. Those were guys that said yes to us either through the portal or the recruiting ranks, but the retention thing is going to be very important in December as well.
Where we're going now in college football, I was talking to somebody, a college football insider this morning, and we were just going through the big issues of college football, some other things that we find fascinating, and then we brought it back home to Florida State. And the Florida State issue of which you speak is going to be the issue of every program in America. Us to a greater degree because of these immediate failures and the newness of these swings that we're seeing now in what's possible, good and bad. It's a whole new element to the game. But the inability for anybody anywhere to sustain depth because of unlimited transfers is being felt around the country. It's being felt to a massive degree in some places more than others. When you're recruiting, you add it to the list of things you need to find out about a kid and his parents. What's sincere? What's aligned? What's real? You going to stay with me? We have a tough time. You in it for the long haul? Did you commit to something more than the money? Did you commit to something greater? Have I properly sold it? Are you a believer? Or are you just, I'm the highest bidder? Because that's changed now. We know that money's going through and everybody's going to have 15 to 20 to spend. I'm talking about million on the roster. So somebody could always outbid you. If they want a kid bad enough, somebody could always outbid you. You're going to be having to commit to something greater than that. And that makes for a fascinating discussion about culture. It's a different discussion than the culture that's thrown around willy-nilly all the time whenever losses begin to mount. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. About my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Know your body and transform your life with DexaFit Tallahassee, your go-to for science-backed health insights. Their DEXA scan gives you the most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, and both subcutaneous and visceral fat. Get the data you need to track progress and make real changes. Your VO2 max is the best indicator of health and longevity, but it offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fat or carbs, helping you train smarter. DexaFit's RMR test reveals how many calories you burn at rest and the type of fuel your body uses, so you can dial in your diet for weight loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. And their red light therapy soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy for just $99. That's a $184 value. Call 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body and transform your life this fall with DexaFit. Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. Kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3, brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers football making some roster moves. They announced that receiver Chris Godwin has gone on injured reserve after he suffered a dislocated ankle on Monday. He is expected to miss the rest of the season. Also, the team announcing that they have signed punter Trenton Gill and receiver Ryan Miller. from the practice squad. The Buccaneers will host the Falcons coming up on Sunday. Other NFL football this weekend, the Jaguars will match up against the Packers, and the Dolphins are going to host Arizona. NHL hockey, the Lightning are in action this evening as they are set to play host to Minnesota. The Florida Panthers this evening, they will take on the New York Rangers. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold, more than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Shop Macy's lowest prices of the fall today for the season's best prices on what you need now. Save 40 to 60% on new styles to get you ready for cooler temps. Like cozy coats for your crew, the perfect sweaters for layering, and more fall wardrobe updates. Plus, don't miss amazing specials for you and your home. So good, they won't last. At Macy's.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
No.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state.
Time. It's the one thing we never get back. We can't create it. We can't buy it. We can't store it somewhere. Once it's gone for good, which makes it the most valuable thing we have. The only real question is how we spend our time. So, how much time are you spending every day running in circles with a computer network using old software on old equipment that's wasting your time, that gets in the way and leaves you feeling angry and frustrated? Let's fix that. Call Crown Networking. They've been helping people just like you and I make the best use of their time for the last 20 years. Now is the time for you to make the call. Here's the number in Tallahassee, 850-999-0090, 999-0090, or online at crownnetworking.com. Oh, and talk to them about getting you a new phone system, too. You know, it's time.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Science-packed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
It's Capital City. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go back over them here shortly. But yeah, I feel good about this week. I am happy the time of year that we're in. I mean, Tom, who's not pumped when it's the Zozo Championship?
Oh, man, I remember when Tiger won that some
Yeah.
years ago, and that tied him with Snead.
It's his final win.
Has he won anything since?
No.
Okay.
No. That tied him with Snead, which was an amazing accomplishment, and that kind of came out of nowhere, by the way, that win at the Zozo. Do you remember we got a snapshot at the Zozo of a Tiger that had existed 10 years prior? Everything was flushed. Everything was gorgeous. Everything was controlled. It looked painless and effortless. You were like, oh, my goodness. Where has this Tiger been? Well, he's been on the operating table. But, like, remarkably, he did. He looked like a guy that it came together for 4 days. And it was a reminder, because he even hit the stinger at the Zozo. He hit the stinger several times, like, oh, there's the stinger. He's breaking it out, boys. You're in trouble now. But, yeah, that the old Zozo, who, by the way, Taylor Moore leads. Just ahead of your favorite Nico Echeverria. CT Pan making an appearance along with Eric Cole, KH Lee, and there is Justin Thomas playing well.
He and Tiger are friends,
Very good friends, yeah. I'm aware.
He'd like to make you aware.
I would, too, if I were friends with Tiger. You'd hear about it every day. Well, I was talking with Tiger last night, and that would somehow work in. Just because of the perks of knowing Tiger. Not those kind of perks.
Perkins?
All right, Siwoo Kim, I see you're 68. Let's keep it rolling, baby. Let's keep it rolling. Got my golf wagers in for the weekend, too, and yes, Siwoo Kim is a part of it. We'll see. We'll see. I got to go look at my other 3 guys, and we'll go from there. Maybe a little KH Lee action. Overs in the World Series, overs in Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and hopefully over 20 points for Florida State this weekend against Miami. What do you say? We want to bet on team total over for Florida State?
What was it?
I said I just made it up as 20.
Oh, okay.
I can go look it up.
I'd say it's 18.5.
Based on our track record, buddy, that would seem like a lot.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That'd be a lot to try to catch up with. I would love to see, some semblance of an offense. I get it. There's going to be mistakes. This offensive line is not good. Tom, I'll tell you something that we haven't talked about, and it doesn't bear, it's not worthy of us spending a lot of time on it. But when you're bad, and it's obvious. And then when bad luck begins to mount atop of bad play, anyhow, you see some weird things manifest, like the head coach making rat trapping decisions, calling timeout before a punt, etc. But also one of the things that ends up happening is, man, guys will find an injury. And I think they've just been injury riddled on that offensive line. It's crazy how many guys that just time and again are out or hurt or dealing with something or playing hurt, and it's remarkable. And that is something that I would love to get a handle on, because I don't think Josh Storms and his staff do a poor job. I don't. But, man, have they had an influx of guys who miss time on that line.
Yeah, I don't know that they do or they don't. And that's not me trying to back away. It's just I don't know what they do in terms of the day-to-day stuff. I've seen bodies change. Like Josh Farmer is one of the shining examples of somebody who has morphed into a different body type and is yet still so strong and explosive.
Yeah, sure.
And so he would be one of the people I put out first if I was Coach Storms to say, here's what I do. This is what the hell we're about. I will say, though, it's never a good look for the strength coach, whether it's his fault or not.
Correct.
When you look weak and soft. And we consistently do.
Yeah, I'll go back to what I think is at the root of that again. I don't think it's because they're not doing the proper lifts or the proper preparation or the off seasons aren't as difficult as they need to be. I don't think that's what it is. I think that to a large degree, the clay you're working with is not very good on that offensive line.
How'd it get worse?
Well, injuries for starters.
Same guys.
Darius is hurt all the time now. All the time. Constantly playing hurt. And when he's not hurt, he gets hurt in warm-ups. Maurice has never been healthy, and he's been beat to the bejesus for 5-6 years of playing center, undersized, with a bad back. And then you've just had guys taking turns. I mean, look, I would say that Byers, when he plays, is not terrible. But how many games did he miss this year? 3? 2? Full 2.5 games? I don't know. I mean, that hurts. I thought you got better at guard in the offseason. One of them is out for the year now or has been out for an extended period of time.
What goes into that? I mean, we're just going to be snake bitten every year with injuries on the offensive line? I mean, they were banged up last year too. Every single one of them has to get hurt for an extended period of time.
It is bizarre. It does suck.
They stretching? They doing? What do you do? Involve some yoga in here? What are we doing?
Oh man,
they certainly don't. It's not like the practices are so brutal.
Oh God,
for
no.
the trenches.
Oh God, no.
That I mean.
Well, but in fairness, Richie Leonard came over from an entirely different program and improved you at guard, and he got hurt. I mean, his body was produced prior to coming here,
sure.
And then he comes. It's I don't know. I think it's easy for us to pile on in that regard. I don't think it's specific to Josh Storms. But you could argue that, and I will, it's a very delicate subject because I never want to imply about a player that they are soft. That is the most damning thing you can say about a football player, is that they're soft. I do feel like sometimes when I watch us that too many guys catch blocks, too many guys don't seem to know the difference between being hurt or injured. When you're hurt, get up and get off the field and figure it out. If you're injured, somebody has to come attend to you. That's the difference. Everybody hurts in football. It's a game about being hurt and tough. If you're injured, you broke your arm or leg, you can't play. You're injured, you're done. You're hurt. My shoulder hurts. That's a deep thigh contusion. Ow, I lost my, I got the breath knocked out of me. Okay, get up. We lay on the ground a lot.
Right. This is the thing. To call someone soft is to get into their core, of their motivation level and their personality. That's too personal. But you can say they look soft. They do.
You can say the team looks soft.
They
I
do.
think they are soft. And that can be something that I believe. Now I do believe this. I believe you can beat that out of them. I believe you can train teams to be tougher. And it's how you go about your day-to-day operation. It's how you go about practicing. I think you can train them to be tougher. You might suffer some casualties along the way. If you're trying to toughen a team, it means you're going to hit. It means you're going to hit a lot more than we hit and then teams hit in general. You're going to do it.
You could get hurt in warm-ups, Jeff.
I said that a couple weeks ago when it happened. Like, well, what's the point? You can get hurt in warm-ups. You might as well hit. It's the classic, you're going to get hit. You might as well catch the ball. Now, we also know there's a difference between certain types of hits, et cetera. And we also know that injuries happen in a collision sport. People get beat up. It does happen. Like, I know I've been hurt before because of football. I had to have surgery. I know what that is. That's you're injured, you've torn or broken something, and it has to be fixed before you can get back out there. Got it. That's all fair. Everybody knows that. But, man, that laying around on the ground for a minute and a half after a tackle, and then you're back in 3 plays later, but get up and get off the field. Take some pride in yourself. Get up and get off the field. Don't lay there. No, nobody needs to look at you on the field. Get up and get off the field. And it sucks because nobody wants to come off the field. I'm not saying anybody does, but that's a me yelling at the clouds thing. So I'm not going to do that. But I do see a lot of that. I see that actually is pretty pervasive around high school and college football. I'm like, come on, man. Get up.
Some people who want Lane here. If Lane came here, you'd see that 12 times a game.
As a active strategery.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you legislate out of the game.
Guys can't come back for the entire drive.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can do it.
I think that is the thing that you could do. Because you'd.
Oh, no. They lost him for the drive. Sorry, man.
That way you're not accusatory. You're not saying you're faking to avoid, a tempo offense.
This is in the interest of the player's safety. If they have to come off the field, let's take the time to make sure
they're okay.
Absolutely. If you want to skirt that issue, we can skirt it just the same. It is in the best interest of the player's health and safety to make sure that if they go down, even on the first play of the drive, they can come back to the next drive. We need to make sure that they're properly evaluated, thoroughly evaluated by medical personnel on the sideline.
We end up in a situation this weekend, Tom, where Florida State's, and we don't know, we'll see, because every week it's kind of hold your breath. Initially, and we're not allowed to report on injuries from practice. So, guys, I don't do that. And during the season, once the games start, I make precious few practices. I can see what they are or are not on Saturdays. But when you go into Saturdays these days, and we always say it on the pregame show, Tom, whoever is there from Warchant in the box with the binoculars checking warmups, I'm forever either texting or wanting to find out from their reports on our boards who's warming up, who's out there, because the offensive line has been a veritable who's who. Like, I don't know, one week is TJ Ferguson playing or not playing? Is Richie Leonard playing or not playing?
It's a veritable who's that.
Oh, yeah. Or
not, because the who's who means that you got yourself.
Well, yeah, we don't have any
ACC
guys.
guys.
Yeah, we don't have any who's who.
Veritable who's
that?
that?
Yeah, or it's really he's starting. Oh, okay. Well, like, when Darius has been up and down with injury, Richie Leonard has missed significant time lately, and is he out for the year? Did they announce it? Do we know if he's coming back? He's done.
I think.
I mean, I
if
think
they didn't announce it, I mean,
it seems like he's done, right?
Been a minute.
So, and I mean, we've seen way too much of Robert Scott, and through no fault of Robert Scott, but he can't play. He's broken to hell. He can't play at all. It's like coaching malpractice to roll him out there. So on Saturday, pay close attention who's out there, because I'll tell you right now, if you've got a line that features Robert Scott and a line that doesn't feature certain other guys, what else to tell you?
It's an interesting dust-up, yes. Well, not dust-up. Question taken with less patience by Mike. This is at the very end. And Aslan's asking him about Jalen Early and the move. Like, how do you think he did? Are you confident that, the guard position is comfortable, a place of comfort for him? And Mike brushed it off and answered, well, I mean, this he was a guard. We brought him in as a guard. We knew early on that's what he could be. Kind of like what are you asking me this question for? And then Early is the reason the question is asked is because Jalen Early's available to the media after, and Jalen's asked about the move. He says, well, it's nice to learn a new position. It's like, guys. Now, the reason that came up in my mind was because you're talking about a line that features Robert Scott. Well, Jalen Early is not an option to tackle at the moment because you're investing in the move to guard. So there's a decent shot that Rob's going to at least get a couple of drives on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a problem. He won't be able to block anybody. He doesn't block anybody who's not good, and he'll be playing against people who are. Yeah, that is, again, the most – we talk about reiterating certain things that bother us about the year. I begin and end really right there. Sure, I can get into these receivers can't catch or whatever else. We should have gone to a new quarterback sooner and whatever. How did we go from having the discussion as, I guess, the genesis of that conversation was born from Mike Norvell himself? How did we go from this is the deepest, most talented, biggest offensive line I've ever had, Mike Norvell, to I'm having to play a guy who's probably 60%. Robert Scott's been rendered 50 to 60% of what he once was because of all of the injuries. So I have to play. We're stuck playing him now. What happened to be a 9 and 10 deep?
And well, the more damning thing was that O-line did compete with the D-line in camp. Like that, it wasn't a whitewashing every day.
Right.
That was what the alarm bells would have sounded in fall camp if you heard that talk in the offseason. And then every single day of fall camp, the D-line dominated. You'd be like, what offensive line? What are you talking about? Well, the O-line had their days, which tells me that the D-line was just kind of taking it easy because the defensive line, it's almost like they had to go through their own preseason. Once you get through a game, that BC game, they got better, and they've shown, I think, more consistency.
The defensive line?
Of being good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, post-BC game, but yes.
I thought BC, they were all right. Well, I mean, they weren't the ones blowing coverages on the wheel.
No.
But it was almost like they needed to ramp up after camp to get up to speed. But they have been on at least.
Farmers played pretty well.
Yes, in the stratosphere. I thought actually Jackson had quite a few good plays against Duke.
He did.
I know that people don't want to give him praise generally, but
he's had a couple games this year where he's played well.
Yeah,
and most of them have been lately. Yeah.
But if this defensive line that we see week to week was the one that was in fall camp, then the O-line wouldn't have won a single day. They wouldn't have won a day.
Well, we don't get to see scrimmages, and so we don't really know how that played out. I think I've learned a lesson here about camp, not just that we can't always trust what we see because they're going against each other, so it is hard to know how you're going to match up against other people. That's the fog of camp, as you like to say, is that we get to see guys against one another. So if you're both bad and it comes out even in the wash, you're like, oh, it looked like it was an even matchup.
They were both bad, but the defensive line elevated to a place that the offensive line never
got to. The one thing I would say is that if you want to have the more, I guess, if you want to be engaged in the more positive the conversation about like, well, people will talk about, well, what do you have to look forward to? Yeah, I think it's something you and I have talked about on the air and talked about off the air together. I think it's guys like KJ Kirkland. I think it's guys like Conrad Hussey. I think it's players like that you can get. Quindarius Jones, I think who you can get excited about. Players like that I do like. I like, I think if they can get consistent and get their head on right, I think that a Charles Lester, for example, can play. There are guys out there that, you're going to be excited about at some point. Unfortunately, it gets lost in the wash here.
We'll see on Hussey for me. This is me personally. They went and got Devontae Brown because they were scared of turning the reins over to Hussey.
They did get him because they were scared, but he's only a sophomore.
I know. He needs to level out a little bit more. Like Edwin Joseph, for example, when I watch him play, I'm like, that's it. He's going to make mistakes, but that's what I'm talking about.
I like it too.
Quindarius Jones, that's what I'm talking about.
I brought him up for that very reason.
Yeah. Hussey, I don't know.
Well, he's too emotional and scatterbrained oftentimes in games. You just see
that's not the position for it.
It's not. But maturity levels sometimes takes a while. It's not that he lacks ability though.
Oh, no doubt.
That's what I mean. I mean, the tools to play at a high level are there with him. That's with some guys on this team. You look around, you're like, he can't play. Well, that's terrifying to come to that conclusion. You really don't come to that conclusion in the secondary very often. Many of those guys in the secondary, you go, yeah, he can play.
Veteran tight end room. I mean, good Lord. Right?
The veterans.
That's it. That's the veteran
and the
tight
veterans
end room.
Indeed. The youngins, you feel very good about. The veterans, Tom is specifically calling out West, Courtney, and Morlock. Yes.
Just put another O-lineman out there at this point.
Well, I don't know that you have one.
I'll bet they would be better at blocking.
A Robert Scott caliber extra O-lineman?
I don't care. I like blocks. I like to see them.
A Jacob Rizzi?
Blocks are good. I like them.
A Brian Estes extra lineman? Which of these extra linemen do you want to put out there?
Don't care. They're better at blocking. They're better at blocking. Hey, why don't you put Armella out there? You know what?
Oh, my Lord.
Because their job, the inline tight end's job is not to block a D tackle. Armella's fast enough, athletic enough. Just make him one of those guys. Make him a jumbo tight end.
That is also hurtful, by the way. You can't find Armella.
And people ask about him every week.
Is he, like, on the team?
Well, that's the most damning thing. Like, Andre Otto and Jalen earlier playing guard. A position that they switched Armella to earlier this calendar year.
Which was the right move.
Yeah, sure. I agree. And yet.
Make sure you take advantage of falling interest rates. Properties are sitting on the market longer than they ever have. If you've been on the fence about purchasing, now is the time to buy. Go see my man. Hardworking, very bright, fellow Knowles, Shannon Young. Loansforknowles.com. He's with the Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. And I'm vouching for Shannon because he does great work. And a lot of you have already gone to see him. Got the opportunity to do so now and take advantage of the interest rates as we were talking about before. Shannon Young, loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This Halloween season, guess who will be hiding under the bed? People that sell new compact cars, SUVs, and trucks. That's who. They're scared to death of Nissan's 2024 lineup. The reports are in. The new look Sentra is absolutely the best looking car you can buy for under $25,000. And the Nissan Titan is the only pickup truck on the market with 0% for 60 months and up to $8,000 off. Forbes Magazine, Wheels Division, test drove Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma in head-to-head competition. Their conclusion was that the winner for driving and handling was the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, hands down. And in an even scarier review, HotCars.com stated that the Nissan Rogue is one of the best-looking compact SUVs on the market. So if you drive an SUV or a truck, don't be afraid. Come test drive the best. Test drive a Nissan at Kraft. You see, in the midst of Halloween season, just like the rest of the year, Tallahassee's not a scary town. It's a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive in Tallahassee, or visit us at craftnissan.com.
This is Hugh Tomlinson, president of the Tallahassee Quarterback Club. I invite you to join our historic club supporting local football since 1949. Don't miss our exciting events featuring legendary and popular football personalities. Get updates from FSU coaches, win great door prizes, and stay on top of all local football. Attend our next event featuring sports analyst and former UGA star David Pollock on October 29th. Get your tickets or join our club at TallahasseeQBClub.com. That's TallahasseeQBClub.com. Get in the game. Get in the club.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martin, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martin, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martin also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martin the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martin and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Redemption Thursday rolling on. Appreciate you being here with us as always. Another reminder today, 5:30, Tom and I get back together largely to take questions from you with a little happy hour, a little interactive happy hour, 5:30. So the show ends at 4. We take a breath. Maybe we pop a beer. I don't know. and then we come on and talk to you guys.
Got to run to the grocery store, sir. Got to run to the grocery store.
I, too, have to run to the grocery store. It's the simple things in life as you get older. I love the grocery store. I do. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, you always hear the honey to-do list thing, the honey-do list. If my wife asked me to go to the grocery store, I grab the keys with the quickness. I'm like, okay. There's silence in my car, or there's my music. Maybe I'm listening to a book on tape or whatever. It's not tape anymore, but, you know, on Audible. Maybe there's a new album that I'm enjoying. It's something like that. It's over here. It's separate. It doesn't require anything of me. I get to ride. I got to pay attention to the other cars. Kind of pay attention to my speed. But it's all good. It's escapism.
The one by campus, the small one that used to be a Greenwise, is dangerous. It's got a bar in it. It's got a bar.
It could call you.
It could.
Yeah. Well, that's...
Because I would use it when the kids don't. You know, like right after the show. They ain't there at 4 o'clock.
No. Because you probably feel out of place being over there at that, at that Publix.
Hey,
that doesn't feel right.
No, I usually go on the one that's just straight down the road here. But I've been there a couple times on a Sunday morning, especially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because the kids, I mean, they're asleep. They just went to bed. Perfect time. Anything around campus, Sunday morning, first thing. It's like it's a ghost town.
There's something about, we did the same thing. Like, they don't give me any money, but when, you know, Costco or Publix, something about the lighting. You just feel better when you leave there. You're like, oh man, okay. Maybe it's commerce. I don't know, but you're there. Things seem to make sense in the world. I can go down an aisle, for example, at the Costco and just look at windshield wipers. I could look at it, whole things. You know, those look pretty good. I bet those would work more efficiently than the ones currently on my car. It doesn't look like it's that hard to figure out. Maybe I'll get those. What about these? And then you're there. I'm becoming my father. My dad will spend hours staring at things that he's never going to buy.
Well, I did the thing last night with the Costco run. You get out the freezer bags, so you have all your meats, and you put them in the freezer, so you're all stocked up over the next couple of weeks. One of my favorite things to get there. I know exactly what it will look like. There's no browsing needed. You just grab and go. But I don't know. It's very satisfying. The giant bag of tiny bell peppers that they have that you can use to help spice up a breakfast, spice up a salad.
You like the tiny bag of bell peppers.
I love it.
You get excited when you pick that bag up,
Look at these colorful things. It's beautiful. Instead of getting the tri-colored one from the basic grocery store, it's overpriced and they're gone in a week. Like, man, I got a good week and a half worth of peppers here. Outstanding.
Now, not every store run is the same. I'm not trying to pretend like I enjoy going to some other places. I see in the chat that Ryan's saying like his wife will send him to Target and he hates it. Yeah, man. It's a chick store. Target is a chick store. And a bunch of dudes hanging out at the Target like, yeah. Best Buy is a dude store. Not a bunch of chicks at the Best Buy. Some things are just true.
Well, I think, for me, Target depends on which Target you go to. That is a store-to-store situation. There are some Targets that are much cooler than others. The layout's the same, but you're just talking about clientele, headaches.
Yeah.
Some
the
Targets...
The Target on the Parkway is shaky, for example.
Yeah.
It's a shaky Target.
It can be.
Sorry. That's the fringe of the Target crowd goes to that Target.
Okay.
I don't quite understand why, but they do.
You don't understand why?
I don't understand why that Target has just a hodgepodge of shaky people.
I lived out there for many, many years. I could tell you it's the zip code, you know? It's young professionals.
Are we talking about the same Target?
On the Parkway. Not too far from CP?
Yeah. That's that Target shaky. Every time
I'm sorry, we can't all live on the Georgia border where you do.
That's a beautiful Target. Tom.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a gorgeous Target.
Okay.
It's a shaky Target, the one you're talking about. You get a Walmart crowd in that Target. That's what you get. You get a Walmart crowd in that Target. There's a dude aimlessly wandering, just taking advantage of the air conditioning. There's a fat woman who's not crippled in any way, but yet insists on riding the cart around each lane. There's a lot of things going on at that Target.
My, oh my, how you have forgotten who you once were.
I never liked that Target. I denounced it at a young age. That is a shaky target.
You've forgotten what it meant to go to a Target that wasn't near Bannerman Road.
Well, once you've had a taste of that target, you'll never go back. Like, this is a highfalutin target here. Got the finer things. It's the upper echelon of the targets.
Here's what I'd argue is that the shakier, as you put it, target.
Shaky target, yeah.
Is the better one to go to. You know why? It's less crowded. The ones that are up by you, oh God, it's blocky SUV this, blocky SUV that, customer service lines at the yin yang because
but the homeless
I'm
aren't wandering
entitled.
the aisles, buddy.
You walk in there, you don't smell food, you smell entitlement when you walk into your Target. That's what I smell.
smell efficiency. I see that this is going to be an expedited trip to Target. The good quality items that I need are right where I can
There's
find
another stroller hitting me in the ankles.
I'm letting you know when I roll into that one Target, I'm like, got a head on a swivel here. This Target could get robbed at any second. I better keep it. This is a shaky Target.
So you would agree, though, the Targets change. It's not a uniform thing.
I do agree.
Yeah.
And I agree that there are difference between Targets in Tallahassee and Targets between it here in Orlando.
Yeah.
Or Targets in Miami or St. Pete or Tampa or like it's a market to market kind of thing.
Well, like Publix is its own thing. Now they might have old stores with lower ceilings, right? That are clearly, Publix that's been there for 40 years, or the newfangled Publix. The Publix is the Publix.
Oh, and that's why it is the state flag. Publix is something all Floridians are very proud of.
Just take away the X and make it the P.
It represents all of us, and we are proud of Publix. You go to other states, and people long for a Publix.
Man, the stock issues that they had up in Queens, in Rockaway.
Right.
I mean, you go there, and you have stuff on the list, on your shopping list, but you should write next to it, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see. Perhaps.
Might be there.
Could be. Never know. Not at Publix. Publix are like, oh, we're good to go. Publix will have it.
Oh, it's in stock.
You know what's fun to do with Publix, and I'll move on? When you go in really early in the morning when they first open, if you're an early riser and you get into that Publix right when they open, every old person you've ever met is at that Publix. It's hilarious. They're getting it done. Those old people are getting their day started right. They were there when the guy unlocked the door. They were waiting as the sun was coming up. They couldn't wait. Henry's getting into that Publix.
It is delightful to get in early to the Publix.
Oh, you can take your time.
It's the way.
The fresh produce.
I'll never forget. I used to do that with my mom because we would go visit my grandma, but over in the bakery, this old woman named Lonnie, who has probably been dead 30, 40 years. Who knows?
But she lives on today.
Well, can't be 40. Yeah, but yes.
She lives on today because Tom Lang mentioned her name.
Oh, wait, yes. She had, before transitions, she would wear the prescription Suns, right? And she had the Luigi green hat because that's what they used to wear in the bakery, like the Luigi style hat.
Luigi green.
And she'd say, hey, young man, you ready for another sugar cookie? And my mom would say, no sugar cookies. And she goes, oh, come on. This one doesn't even have sprinkles.
That was, by the way, the other part of it is that every time when I would go in with the kids, they would race over there to get the cookies, and they're really good with the cookies. Yeah. Oh, take them. Take them. Who's going to be stingy with the cookies?
Free sugar cookie. Thank you, Lonnie. Never forget.
Wagers look like this. Post them. We're going to take Martha's money. Boise State -3 against UNLV. Virginia Tech -10 against Georgia Tech. BYU +2.5 against UCF. Does it bother you that Georgia Tech stinks?
Yeah. I told you yesterday that was when it started to change for me when I saw McCord doing whatever he wanted to Tech in week 2, week 3.
Yeah. Whatever he wanted to do. BYU +2.5 against UCF. Iowa -14 against Northwestern. Notre Dame over 31.5 against Navy. Bowling Green under 46. And in the NFL, jump on a points blitz that is the Cincinnati-Philadelphia game. Over 48 on the total. Burrow over 259 passing. Jalen Hurts over 225 passing. A.J. Brown over 73.5 yards receiving. Somebody's got to catch all those Hurts passes, and somebody's going to have to catch all the Burrow passes, and that'll be Jamar Chase. 74.5 yards Over.
I'm
there,
glad
too.
that you've rephrased that to catching passes instead of what you were doing yesterday with DeAndre Hopkins and Will Levis and
Catching balls.
Yeah.
And I said that Hopkins was so happy
to no longer be
catching balls from Levis. Well, it was very infrequent, Tom.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of opportunities.
A lot of bouncers.
A lot of things that didn't work out. Those balls never got there. But now, he's going to look rejuvenated. He's going to look like a guy that's, 27 again instead of 32, lighting it up. I know you, me, and everybody else who suffers from Chiefs fatigue. When really, they just got DeAndre Hopkins, did they? Here's a man playing out the string in Tennessee that nobody saw, nobody cared about, and who Levis couldn't find. And now he'll go to Kansas City with a new lease on life and a chance to win a ring and a quarterback that is generational talent we're talking about here.
Despite the fact that he's 6-8 touchdown interception ratio this year.
Right. No, they're largely leaned back on their defense this year. But, man, every time that team needs a play that is special, he makes it. Did you see him tight-roping down the sideline against San Francisco? The whoopity-doo?
We all know why. Can't touch quarterbacks.
Oh, well, there was that, but also he's just really good. And I never had this happen, so I don't know. Who's falling for the play fake 9 yards downfield? Can we stop? Is it just a reactionary, you can't help yourself?
It is. You know who lived on that? Old Jameis.
Man, faking as if you're going to throw when you're 12 yards past the line of scrimmage is the most ridiculous thing for a defender to fall for, and they all do. My man's running out of bounds 15 yards downfield, realizes he can't beat the man to the corner, stops, pumps, dude jumps back 10 yards, and he just keeps running.
If you can stomach it, watch every play of the Browns game this weekend, and it's minus 200 that Jameis does it at least once.
No, he's good at it, but it's usually within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage where maybe, just maybe, it's a throw in the defender's mind, not 20 yards downfield. Goodness gracious, guys. Get it together. Speaking of which, if you go right now, get a DEXA scan, you can use code Jeff25, and if you do, you'll save 25%. That is a really good thing. Know your body and transform your life with our friends at DexaFit. Get a DEXA scan today. The other way to go about it is you could get a DEXA scan and the red light therapy, which can help soothe your sore muscles, reduce the inflammation, rejuvenate your skin, all of those things. Combo that. Normally, it's almost $200. Get it right now for just $99. Call 850-510-7728. Had somebody ask me about a DEXA scan this morning, somebody we know, and they were excited to hear about the code and hear about the savings. They're going to do it either today or tomorrow, so I'm excited for them. I made sure they said that you heard it from Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff 50.
Do the right. I want to participate in that Jeff 95% off of the stuff we got here. 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body, transform your life this fall with DexaFit.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee police are investigating suspicious deaths after two were found dead in a home near Owsley Road Sunday evening. Around 6 p.m. Sunday, near the 300 block of Owsley Road, officers arrived at a home in the area for a welfare check when they found a man and woman dead inside. Tallahassee police said all involved parties have been identified. There have been no further details released at this time. The investigation is open and active. One person is dead following a Bainbridge police chase on October 12th at around 6 p.m. Bainbridge Public Safety attempted a traffic stop on a gray Mercedes. The driver refused to pull over. GSP said they decided to end the chase by using a pit maneuver on Georgia 309 due to the suspect driving recklessly and showing no regard for the safety of others. The driver, who was the only person in the car, was ejected from the vehicle. The driver was found unresponsive outside of the car. Even though life-saving measures were taken until EMS arrived, the suspect passed away from his injuries. This is Rachel N.A. with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 87 this afternoon. Under sunny skies, winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 62. Daytime highs approaching 88 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Dry Saturday and Sunday under clear skies with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 83 degrees.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping.
Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps.
Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors.
And we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless.
Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
No.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Jeff.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I wonder, I don't know a lot of times politicians answer the question they wished was asked of them instead of the one that was. And I think coaches deflect a lot. We were just doing coach speak this morning, and so that'll get out later today or tomorrow for you. And, I wonder sometimes what's the question we would want to be asked about this team in the interactive tonight at 5:30 that we haven't already been asked.
People will get you straight through here because it'll be released at 4:00 today. So you watch this show 4:00 today, coach speak, followed by the interactive hour 5:30.
Wow. Yeah. So there it is. Boom, boom. It doesn't, Florida State struggles, but this group doesn't struggle, baby. Not this group. Not me, Tom, Ira, Corey, Aslan, Ben, Matt, none of us.
And they could say, well, what do I do from 5 to 5:30? Well, that's when, if you haven't watched the Warchant report, there it is.
Or you drink. These days, trying to keep up with this team requires a little extra fuel for the fire.
Absinthe.
You saw that a bunch of people sent it to us. I jokingly requested earlier this year, in order to raise money for a program that's going to have to do a lot of paying and overpaying. And I kind of, in passing, mentioned that heroin at the bottom of the popcorn, when word whispered out, and who would ever believe it? When the athletic director got cornered by the NCAA and the law for that matter, you're accusing me of putting heroin at the bottom of popcorn? Sir, please leave my office. These are the chambers of a serious man.
Here comes Scott Pelley, 60 Minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott. Ask away, buddy. You guys are losing it. I am here as an athletic director. I am not are you accusing me of being a drug runner? Anyhow, so.
In fact, popcorn sales in Tallahassee did spike over 600% of the next closest team.
Best popcorn in the land. We care about the fans here in Tallahassee. We are very, very proud of our vendor.
The Alabama Crimson Tide, who have long bragged about their popcorn sales as well as funnel cake sales that they've had in Tuscaloosa, leading the country since 1974.
Maybe you ask them if there's cocaine in that funnel cake, Scott. Bet you don't. Now, the thing of it is, a story did come out this week in which it was a side of fries and cocaine. And this business did get popped for cocaine in the fries, and it was understood. Enterprising young man. You think it's a burger Shake Shack? No, sir. Fries and Coke.
It's a better place for cocaine than a basketball player once had it.
Ooh. Player went on to have a nice little run here in Tallahassee.
He did.
We never really thought that Kreft would do that, but he did.
We had a lot of tall posts who were physical.
Oh, Kraft was a man.
He
That
played-
was a scary dude.
But Sarge was here at that time, too.
Well, we made the Sweet 16 solely on playing defense. I mean, we made life hell for people. They were sweating when they walked in the building. A little 49-48 for that ass.
I believe we got A&M in that first game.
We did.
Singleton came back.
Yeah, we beat him. I would also note that there's an exhibition game tonight, everybody. You didn't know, did you? There is. Florida State plays. It is the annual Aubrey Boyd Foundation charity fundraiser game, which is a good cause. Jameer Watkins, the star of this basketball team, who originally said he was leaving, then chose to come back. The Noles lost 7 transfers, plus 3 seniors, so it's a new-look Florida State team, just so you know. They have the 3 veterans, chief amongst them, Jameer Watkins at 6'7", led the team in points, field goals attempted, converted, free throws attempted, converted, rebounding, steals, second on the team in assists, was, as you could tell, the best player Florida State had last year in every meaningful category. He was also second on the team in blocks. It was ridiculous. He is all things Florida State. So, look, you're going to have to figure out a way to avoid how bad this team was a year ago. And there were a lot of glaring weaknesses last year for Florida State basketball. We were 14th out of 15 teams in the ACC in rebounding margin. So that's tough. You're going to lose. Just start with the fundamentals. Do you rebound the ball as well as your opponents are close to? No, we do not. Okay, let me guess. That means they get a lot of second chance opportunities. Bet that's on the list.
Well, I can hear this coming from one of our favorite fellow members at Capital City Country Club, too.
Oh, buddy. We were 14th in the ACC in scoring defense, which means we allowed just over 76 points a game. We were 13th in the ACC in field goal percentage defense and 14th in the ACC in three-point field goal defense. That feels right. Sometimes you watch a game and you're like, oh, really? I'm surprised by that stat. Other times you hear a stat and you watch the game and you go, yes, that seems right. Like if you watch Florida State football and you say, we really struggle to convert on third down. Stats will back you up. We sure do. We sure do. We really struggle to score. That's true. Go look at points per game. I bet our yards per play are pretty low. That is accurate. One of the lowest in the country. If you watch the games. This basketball team fit that same sort of descriptor. 14th in the ACC in three-point shooting percentage. So if I flip it on offense, we couldn't defend the 3 on defense, and we couldn't make the 3 on offense. I don't know if you know anything about modern basketball, but the three-point shot has turned out to be very, very important. You, A, have to be able to defend it, B, have to be able to shoot it. We did neither. Made for a long season. We were 14th in the ACC in free throw percentage. Oh, great. So we're not going to defend a 3, nor are we going to make a 3. But if we get to the free throw line, we'll make some shots? No, we won't. We'll be 14th in the league in making free throws. Okay? What is it you say you do here? 13th in the ACC in assist-to-turnover ratio. That's not good. It's not good. Second in the ACC in total fouls committed. Couldn't stay in front of you. Couldn't guard you. So we fouled you. If we didn't foul you, it means that you didn't penetrate the lane, instead chose to make the open 3 that we can't defend. If you missed said 3 or somehow avoided getting fouled while going to the basket, you got the rebound. That's the picture I just painted for you statistically.
But we were competitive.
We were second in the ACC in total fouls committed with 651 in 33 games. NC State had 664 fouls. So when those two teams played, it was take it out back, raise the fists. Ain't nobody shooting around here. This is some Detroit Piston back in the day basketball going on out here. So we did force a lot of turnovers in terms of steals. We were able to steal the basketball from you. I think that's the length. So we'll see what we get here. I think.
Sorry, this is my fault. You were talking about fries and cocaine.
I was, but somehow I got into basketball. I would have rather continued to talk about fries and cocaine or heroin and popcorn or the young lady that got stabbed by the swordfish. All very interesting topics and things that will catch you off guard.
I promise you, we never put willingly anything in the popcorn other than salt and butter.
If some rogue employee has been putting heroin in the popcorn, it's unbeknownst to me. Please have a good day.
But sir, you're still charging well above the national average for that
Quality
popcorn.
of the popcorn. Quality of it. It's not cheap to get high quality popcorn.
It's our vendors. We have excellent vendor relationships.
This is a for-profit business. We are here to make money. The athletic department needs the money.
Popcorn is worth what people are willing to pay for it.
Some of that money, of which I speak, goes to these lesser teams, and it helps fund their athletic budget. I'd say what we're doing is benevolent. If you'd like to do a story about that, Scott.
What's more American than popcorn?
Or helping the little guy out. Bring him on up to our level. Help him out. We're trying to do it through a perfectly legal means such as tasty popcorn. Just call it another brilliant idea. That's what I would say. Hour number 3. It's coming up. Hang in. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Pinch A Penny Pools has the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the city. You might even call it Tallahassee's Hot Tub Hub. 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, with over 50 of them on site. Over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But I digress. So why should you own a hot tub from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Number 1. Health benefits, of course. The healing powers of soaking in a hot bubbling pool of water go back centuries. Google it. Number 2, Pinch A Penny has hot tubs with technology called Freshwater IQ. It gives you real-time chemical readings and tells you exactly what to add to keep the water at peak perfection, with automated analysis to help you control the chlorine and pH. It's hot tubs for dummies. Sign me up. Number 3, they have the best prices, of course. Plus, you get a free accessory and no interest financing. Easy peasy. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Locally owned, locally operated, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's no
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless in zero gravity. All of the weight and worry of life is melted away, and you fall into a state of profound relaxation. This is what you'll find at Tallulah CBD Mushrooms THC in Railroad Square when you try out their state-of-the-art floating pods. While you're there, shop for the best quality CBD, mushrooms, THC, and kava products available. Shop Tallulah today with 6 locations in Tallahassee and the Kava Bar Lounge in Bannerman Crossing. Online at TallulahSmokes.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
WVFT Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Palmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2 to start the season, +6 goal differential, $1.48 favorite at Amalie Arena tonight against Minnesota. 24 with total 6 over. College football Saturday, Florida State +21 at Miami. Hurricanes 7-0, 3-0 the ACC. Seminoles have lost 6-7 this season and 5-6 in the Atlantic. BYU a 1.5 favorite at UCF. Thursday night, the ACC, Pitt playing 5.5 at home at Syracuse. Thursday night football in the NFL. Vikings 2.5-point favorites at the LA Rams. Sunday, Jaguars +4.5 at home against the Packers. Cash back for every bet with a GBank signature Visa card. VSIN.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Shop Macy's lowest prices of the fall today for the season's best prices on what you need now. Save 40 to 60% on new styles to get you ready for cooler temps. Like cozy coats for your crew, the perfect sweaters for layering, and more fall wardrobe updates. Plus, don't miss amazing specials for you and your home. So good, they won't last. At Macy's.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and will do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Harnessing the power of the sun, delivering the highest quality drinking water. We are warming homes and fueling industries. And behind every service, there's a dedicated team. They're your neighbors, friends, and family. We are connected, and together, we are stronger. Day and night, rain or shine, the City of Tallahassee Utilities is working for you.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for being here with us. I will let you know at Games for Less right now. New boxing game. First one in like 10 years called Undisputed. Also to go along with the new 2K. And right here in town at Games for Less, your man who's been local for 25 years, George Dial, Games for Less. Go check him out. Do right. Support local business. That said, I am happy that the NBA is back. Watched a couple games the last 2 nights, Tom. And I am happy that college basketball is starting soon. And we ended the hour loosely talking about college basketball. Should note, Leonard Hamilton set to join us on the Jeff Cameron Show Wednesday coming up this week. Going to talk to Leonard. Looking forward to it. Leonard is always a joy to talk to. He is a class act and an all-time great professional. We'll talk with Leonard. I'm not trying to tell you this is going to be a good year for Seminole basketball, but I don't think a lot of people know, and I'm curious to hear what Leonard has to say, what this basketball team is. They're not going to win the national title. I know that. But they've got, as I just pointed out, a slew of new players. You know, Miami has 11 new players. I was doing a check. I was looking around at college basketball. Not a long segment on college basketball, don't worry. I was going through, like, team by team by team. What a mess. What a mess we have in college basketball. It's 8 new guys here, 9 there, 7 here, 11 there, 10 here, 4 there, 6 here.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, I'll just say it, college sports sucks in a lot of ways. But we love our team. We love our school. So we have to work together with our school to wade through this era where we say, this is dumb.
Well, they're going to have to get stupid. They're going to have to get it right. They're going to have to, and I believe that these changes are coming, but they're going to have to do something. It is a hodgepodge of, like, who the hell is anywhere? You don't even know. We're like, well, who's... I mean, the biggest topic we continue to go back to, and I'll grant you it's because Florida State is lost in the wilderness at a sea of suck is where we are now in football. But primarily all we're talking about is re-recruiting the good players on this roster and how many you can bring in to supplement the bad players. It's not and we're not even talking about recruiting. We're talking about how do you go about it? How do you go about flipping the whole damn thing? Something we haven't addressed that I do think by itself will be helpful is you can reset the culture a little bit from one year to the next. And I don't mean culture as in it's toxic, but obviously there's a mentality right now where losing begets losing and it's a here we go again. And you've seen it play out in games. The first thing bad that happens, there's sort of the slumped shoulders, oh my, can you believe it? Here, this is happening all over again. This isn't a real tough team, either physically or mentally. I don't think they're real tough. I don't think they've quit. I just don't think they're very tough. I think you can reset that. That's the other thing you have to do. And that's going to involve change in the way you go about your day-to-day operation, the way you practice, the way you recruit, all of it. It's going to require some change. In addition to all the changes we talk about that's needed on the staff and the players and how you're going to recruit or what you're going to be able to recruit. I don't even know the answer to those questions. I don't. Everybody wonders, like, what's going to be left at the end of this year. But again, I do think this is part of a sea change in college football. I think you're going to see lots of disparate seasons. You know, the kinds of years that defy logic under the old way of viewing college football or seeing college football play out, where your Blue Bloods didn't go from 12 wins to 6. They didn't go from 12 to 5 or 4, let alone 2 and 10. I think it's more likely and more possible that those kinds of crazy seasons, one over the next, are possible.
So the signing day, and I don't, can you even call it signing day anymore? Because NLIs are now not a thing.
Right.
So the college commitment day is the Wednesday after the Florida game. All right. But the portal window for the winter is December 9th through the 28th. You've got a 20-day window there. December 9th through the 28th is when you're going to see who's leaving and who's making their way here. Oh, well, they don't have to have their decision by the 28th, but the declarations of who's in the portal have to happen in that period of time. It does extend out a longer period of time for the teams that are still participating in bowl games in the playoff. But at any rate, the time we get to Christmas, you will know a lot of the pieces of the roster that you have here. The kids that came in out of high school, and then the kids that decided to stick it out and not move on. And then by the time you get to about middle of January, you'll know which kids are coming in from the portal, because those kids will just declare, they'll take their visits around New Year's, a little after New Year's, and then at some point in the month of January, you will know who is going to be on campus in time for spring camp. That's the new roster construction era as we know it. It used to be National Signing Day, and then everybody else you had was a holdover. Maybe you grabbed a grad transfer, maybe a JUCO transfer. Other than that, it was about how many of my high school commits are going to be early enrollees and participating in spring camp. Now, December and January are total roster overhauls. Every year they can be if you want them to be.
You wonder how well you can execute the plan. And it's why I wonder, like, what's on Mike's mind every night right now? Because you got these games and you're trying to prepare your teams to play these games. They're still going to play these games, and you do have to find a way to get some wins here and to try to get the most out of the young kids that you're now obviously infusing in the game plan each week. You've got these guys playing a lot of minutes, a lot of reps. You're going to add even more to the table with each passing week. You got to do all that with a mind towards the future. So the more you play the young guys, the more likely they are to come back because you've now engaged them. You've got them interested in, and then they've got a chance, they know, to be principal players next year. Those that aren't getting that playing time when the season is lost are already with their mind halfway out, the foot's out the door. Let's put it that way. Many of these coaches have to be thinking, I'm not going to be retained. So they're beginning to look for jobs. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. I mean, you're 1-6, you're about to be 1-7. If I'm a staff member on a 1-7 team, I kind of realize that there's a real good chance I'm not retained. The head coach isn't going to fire himself. So next up, who's it going to be? And I would think that if you're some of these coaches might also look at it and say, I got to find greener pastures. I don't know. Maybe I'll be retained. Maybe I won't be, but I'm in limbo right now because I don't know if this guy's going to make it. So I'm already beginning to look. Now, many of these guys feel like they owe they owe Norvell. Many of them really are making more money and in a place where they never would have been if it wasn't for Mike Norvell. I mean, just look where some of the guys came from to coach here at Florida State with Mike. They weren't fast-tracking to Bama. So they've got a chance. They're making more money now than they'll ever make again probably in the rest of their lives. Probably, many of them. So they feel a debt of gratitude towards Mike, but they're also realists. They know this business. They're probably looking around. I'd be looking for a soft landing spot if I were some of these coaches. And they probably know, I would imagine they probably know which ones are not going to be retained. I don't know what that conversation's like, if that's happened between a coach and Mike or not. Has Mike begun to tell people, look, I think if your agent can find you something, you wonder the kinds of things that are being talked about right now behind the scenes.
I feel like the market forces are going to pressure something this weekend. And I could be wrong, but you're now seeing the normalization of coordinators and coaches being let go in season because the clock does start so quickly after it's over. February signing day is ancient history.
Yeah.
Now you have a signing day that is between, if you're playing in a conference championship game, the Wednesday of your prep for a conference championship game, you have to do by the way, let me call the kid and make sure that he'll sign with us.
It's crazy, and they've got to stop this. Yeah. This is not healthy. It doesn't work. It's really, really silly.
Let's say that you are playing in the Big 12 championship game, and if you lose, you're not making the playoff. If you win, you're in. But you're trying to finalize a recruiting class at the same time. It's Tuesday night. You should be prepping for your opponent and your chance to play in the dance. Instead, a 17-year-old's handler is calling you and saying, hey, can we up that by about $75,000? Can we do that? And you've got to play back and forth and phone tag. I mean, it's absurd.
The other weird thing, too, is for these coaches that are going to get other jobs. Now, you don't have to worry about it if you're on Florida State staff. You're not playing extra games. You know exactly how many games you're playing. There's no bowl to be had.
Yeah.
So you're now looking at other staffs, but what if they're in line to play a bowl game? What if they're in line to make up outside? Like, listen, there's an outside chance that Lane Kiffin, I'll use this as a bigger example. If Florida wants to get Lane Kiffin, let's say they are going to move on from Billy Napier. I don't think they are. I think he comes back. I think he's got them playing hard. They've got hope because they have Lagway, good young quarterback. They've played hard for that guy these last few weeks. They're getting results. They're going to lose some games because now here's the hard stretch of the schedule. But if they get to 6 wins, we already said before the season that guy's like coach of the year, so they're not going to fire him if he gets to 6 wins, and he's close already. So, but let's say it falls apart and they do want to move on and they want Lane. Each week that Ole Miss wins, they're favored by 20 this week against Oklahoma. Is another week you're behind the 8 ball because you can't really talk to Lane because he's fighting like hell to make the playoff. And there's a chance they will make the playoff. So you're kind of stuck. And by the way, if Ole Miss makes the playoff, and I don't think they will, but if they do, you think he's taking the Florida job? I don't. So you're kind of in limbo. You're stuck. You're like, well, I need to get a head start on this. I need somebody in here as quickly as possible. I need to be able to tell these recruits and the ones that remain on the staff.
What's awesome about this situation is they play, and by they, I mean Ole Miss. They play Georgia on the 9th of November, same weekend as the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, they may win.
If they don't, and they suffer their 3rd loss of the season,
and they're out, yeah.
They have a bye week, and their next opponent, the Florida Gators in Gainesville. Oh, my goodness. It writes itself. November the 23rd, Florida hosts Ole Miss. I mean, a 3-loss Lane Kiffin rolling into town.
It's for the job. Billy, can you beat your replacement? If you do, you get to keep your job. Lane, do you want this job? If you do, you'll beat Billy Napier.
Because if you win, you could just stay here.
Just stay.
Just don't leave.
Awkward sight before the game. The Florida AD embraced in a hug with Lane Kiffin.
Oh, man.
Good to see you, Lane. I don't think these two have ever met before. Yeah. This is weird.
They don't have a history.
No, that's a real embrace.
No, but they have a future. It reminds me of the awkward time that South Carolina rolled down into Gainesville, Steve Spurrier's Gamecocks, and they beat Will Muschamp's Gators. And you knew at the 50-yard line when they embraced.
There it was.
Muschamp was fired in that moment. And Steve knew it.
Cost him his job.
I hate to do it to you, big shooter.
Yeah, no, I can remember that too. You're right. It is weird time in college football. The upside of the 12-team playoff and the weird calendar is that probably 35 teams that still feel like they've got a shot to make the playoff as we sit here today. And that there are games with real implications this weekend, like 6 to 8 of them with big-time implications. None bigger than Texas A&M LSU.
Yeah, that's a playoff game.
That's a huge game. Absolutely huge game. I want to take a quick second. On the 7th of November, my friends at Tried and True Consulting, myself included, the Jeff Cameron Show, if you will, and our dear friends at the Second Harvest of the Big Ben, we're going to get together. We're going to help those in need come out to Barrel Proof Lounge for music and drinks. For every 2 cans of boxed food items, you receive 1 drink card. Maximum 2 drink cards. We can't get you out here getting blitzed. Somebody's going to come up with 27 cans. Check it out. I Ubered.
Empty that barrel.
Yeah. So we're fortunate enough to be joined by our friends at Grassroots Coffee, the Barrel Proof Lounge, who gives us the spot. We've got some vodka, social vegan vodka, I might add, that are going to join us in our efforts as well. And you can bring and contribute to the food drive. It's from 4 to 7. Drop-off location, Barrel Proof Lounge, Midtown, 2040 Thomasville Road, Suite 100. And it's from 4 to 7 o'clock on the 7th of November. So it's just a good cause, and it's a nice little happy hour on November the 7th. Few hours. Swing in, drop off your canned food. You can always donate money if you don't want to do the food thing, whatever it might be, and you get some free drinks along the way. So we appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to joining Tried and True in the Second Harvest of the Big Ben and seeing I have not been to the Barrel Proof Lounge in Midtown. It looks awesome.
Nor I. Yeah, I'm looking
Let's
forward
go.
to that.
Let's do it up. And I love coffee, so thanks to Grassroots as well. And don't mind if I do on that social vegan vodka. We'll spruce it up with a little cranberry. We're good to go. Don't mind. Cranberry juice.
I was just looking at the slate this weekend because you were mentioning there's some games with a lot on the line. The 3:30 window has a Big Ten clash in Eugene between Illinois and Oregon.
Oregon.
Okay, that sounds like a good game, right? Because Illinois has been lovable underdogs this year. They're one of the lovable underdogs in power football.
Just destroyed Michigan.
They did. The number for that game is larger than the number for our game.
21.5?
It's 21.5.
Mm-hmm. I looked. It was one of the first ones I looked at.
And what did you think?
I think I'm going to take Oregon.
Really?
I've enjoyed my run with Illinois, but I think the gig is up.
Okay.
I think I'm going to.
21.5.
It's a Dan Lanning-led team. That's they'll be prepared, Tom, for any situation, buddy.
It's the new Tom Herman in these parts.
I think Dan Lanning's had more success than Tom Herman. But, yeah, he just got done beating Ohio State. He's doing all right for himself. But, I love Fat Bielema. I've been all over this Illinois run. It broke my heart to take Oregon in my pool that I'm in. But I did. I think Illinois is going to have a hard time scoring against Oregon, requisite to what they'll need. Oregon's got some dudes now. They do. The one hope you have if you're taking Illinois in the 21.5 is that Dylan Gabriel will remember that he's Dylan Gabriel. He played lights out against Ohio State. He was making throws, man. I was like, where has this been?
Yeah, 15-4 touchdown to pick ratio for Gabriel this year.
Yeah, he's played well. I do want you to know that when we get set to solve for the future here in a moment, I will add this. Our mutual friend and collaborator, I can say it, Jonathan, over there at ISF says that, Tom, Zombie Nation, and it's another drop. That's another player down for Florida State. He liked the whole thing we were going to do there.
Yeah, Zombie.
Is the new Solving the Future theme song. And a snip of that and how we're solving for these kinds of problems is all he really wants.
Oh, okay.
So can we make a theme song for future ISF Solving for the Future? You probably can't do it right now.
Probably not.
But for the next one on Thursday.
We can mock it, this time again.
We can do it, yeah. He wants the Zombie Nation. Oh, and it's dropped. Followed by me saying there's another player down for Florida State. We could do that. And it'll be fun for you to do. And that will be how we introduce Solving for the Future from here on out.
I'm glad he appreciated the Zombie Nation, because I did too. Like, man, that's a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you age yourself. Things like that. Everybody had that as a celebration song, a goal song, a pregame warm-up song, and it's just been lost to the throes of time. It's no Gary Glitter, but Zombie Nation was a big song.
It was. There's a song that's played now. It's not the Swag Surf song, which is terrible. It's played over and over and over again. But there is one that's very similar. It's dong, dong. It goes over.
Hell's Bells?
No, I wish it were Hell's Bells.
For Whom the Bell Tolls?
I wish it were that. I wish it were Slayer. That would be fantastic. Once again, the idea I had many moons ago never gets old. It'll never happen either. But Rain in Blood or South of Heaven, whichever you want to do, with minions running through the aisles, blood pouring down the steps if you could do it. Man, would that be awesome. What an intimidating intro. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Know your body and transform your life with DexaFit Tallahassee, your go-to for science-backed health insights. Their DEXA scan gives you the most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, and both subcutaneous and visceral fat. Get the data you need to track progress and make real changes. Your VO2 max is the best indicator of health and longevity, but it offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fat or carbs, helping you train smarter. DexaFit's RMR test reveals how many calories you burn at rest and the type of fuel your body uses, so you can dial in your diet for weight loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. And their red light therapy soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy for just $99. That's a $184 value. Call 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body and transform your life this fall with DexaFit.
I'm Franklin, and I've been a Paul's termite technician for well over 10 years. Working for a great company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a blessing for my family and myself. I get tremendous satisfaction knowing that the work I do helps protect most people's biggest investment, their homes, the place where they raise their families and build lifelong relationships. Paul's is a company that stands behind their commitments to customers and employees, and that makes me proud to represent them.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Franklin and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Warning. Amendment 4 overturns Florida's parental consent law, so a minor could undergo an abortion without a parent's permission. Doctors can't even prescribe Tylenol without a parent's consent. But with Amendment 4, abortion would become the only medical procedure that can be performed on a minor without a parent's permission. Amendment 4 goes far beyond Roe v. Wade, eliminating reasonable safeguards and forcing taxpayers to fund abortions, even late-term abortions when science says the baby can feel pain. The Amendment 4 campaign is funded by George Soros and his radical allies, the same people trying to strip away parents' rights and push gender ideology in schools are trying to overturn parental consent on abortion. Amendment 4 isn't about freedom. It's about taking power from parents and giving it to radical leftists. Be warned, Amendment 4 is way too extreme and not what it seems. Sponsored by Truth About Amendment 4.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I'm kind of curious, Tom, before we solve for the future here. I mean, we can in this segment, but I do want to, you know how we used to play the game of reading a player's statement after they've been suspended by the league, any player in professional sports that gets suspended? We always did the Jeff Cameron Show PR treatment. We would apply, yay or nay, good, that works, doesn't work. For some guys, it's kind of a lost cause because they're forever getting in trouble. You're like, well, what are you going to do? This guy's been in trouble 7 times. I don't know how I can help him here. But the Jeff Cameron Show PR firm will take on tough clients. We'll get into it. We'll get down in the muck with you. There's always a statement that can be made that's more proper than another statement.
I believe that's the company slogan. There's always a statement that can be made.
That's right. In fact, it's our job to make it. Let us survey the event at hand, and we will come up with something from the playbook that sounds better than anything you might say spur of the moment. So shut your mouth, pay us for what we do, and we'll make you shine in your most difficult of moments. Now, the reason I bring this up, and it's been a tough go for Jamison Williams, had some troubles since coming into the league. He's been suspended, so the Lions are going to lose him for 2 games, and it's a PED violation. At least this is not a massage. That's a tougher one for us to work through. That's tough. Another one, Deshaun? We've done 23 of these. I don't know how much more we can do for you.
I think he would have been dropped.
Well, we would have done what he did, which is we would have told him to go ahead and plea. He did plea. He pled. It's what you're going to have to do at some point. We're going to have to plea here so we can start fresh because I don't know what to tell you here. But he said about getting popped for PEDs, quote, I don't take supplements or vitamins. I am overly cautious about even taking over-the-counter medicine. At no time have I ever taken something in an attempt to cheat or look for an unfair advantage. I understand that I'm responsible for everything that goes into my body, and I have to take accountability in this instance. I have nothing but love and respect for this game, my teammates, coaches, the Lions organization, and the city of Detroit. It is disappointing to accept this suspension, and it's going to hurt me to be away from the team as they prepare this week. So out of respect to my teammates, this will be the last time that I address this matter. Now, this, it should be noted, was sent out by his agent and those offices. I'm sure that was not an off-the-cuff comment because it's spectacular. It is right down the middle of what we would have done there. This is, and I'll translate the statement for everybody. In PR terms, we could see what was happening here. This is a man admitting that he was taking horse steroids. He was juiced out of his mind. But out of respect for the city, this great franchise, and his teammates, he cannot act as a distraction and profess his innocence because he knows he's guilty as hell. And it's the quickest way to get through it all because he tells you at the end that this will be, by the way, it's going to hurt me to be away from my teammates as they prepare this week. A little heartfelt moment in there. He wants you to know.
Oh, yeah. Look, nobody feels worse about this than I do. I'm a victim.
Tom, it's disappointing, as he described here. It's disappointing that I have to accept this suspension, but in order not to be a distraction and for the love of this great franchise, these fans, and my teammates,
and the integrity of this game, which is beyond reproach,
I will accept this suspension. I will not fight it. It's the last time I'll address this matter, however.
Out of respect for my teammates.
Of course, it has nothing to do with you pinning me down about the drugs I was quite clearly on. But it's perfect. Well done, whoever his particular PR team is, because that is perfect. He faces a ban from practicing. Will miss these 2 games. Will do so without pay. The Lions have said since the statement, we trust this kid. He has our support. Now, that is code for he's a really good player. We're not going to kick him off the team at this time. Both sides engaged in PR wizardry. Dan Campbell, what are your thoughts on yet another suspension and problem for Jameson Williams? Just eats us up inside. We trust this kid. Hell of a competitor. He'll climb back. He'll get through this. If something happens in which we can help out in any way over these next 2 weeks, we will.
In accordance with the CBA, of course.
Of course. What I imagine that his team did not enjoy, that Dan Campbell said, was later when he was asked about it a second time, unfortunately, you do have to pay for your sins. Oops. Dan, we had it going. We had it going here. What happened? You seem to have intimate knowledge that says he's guilty. Were you injecting him? What is going on? Did I trust this kid mean he's doing everything he can to help us win? Is that what that is?
That sounds like my baseball manager in the summer when the closer got suspended for the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, I've told him rules are rules. Are you saying that you're sure he used, I've told him rules are rules?
Rules are rules. Yeah. We used to get mad. Remember on the show, we used to talk about how if a guy at some point in his career, especially like a linebacker, didn't get popped for PEDs, I'm not sure how much he cares. I'm not sure how much he cares to compete at the highest levels.
I want a linebacker whose teammates are afraid to be his teammates.
Right.
In the pregame setup, the locker room's going on, coach is giving his speech. and the linebacker interrupts the speech unwittingly because he's wailing out in psychological fear and pain. Don't make me do this.
Yeah. And
as the coach is saying, this is why on third downs today, we got to be very, don't make me do this. Like,
they're like scared.
I don't want to. Oh,
well,
that's my linebacker.
I don't know if you ever saw the documentary. There's been several, but one in particular that was really well done on Mike Tyson. He would cry before he fought. Okay. That adds to the lore.
Because he had to turn into something he didn't want to.
That's correct. He was going to turn into, a maiming, ferocious, never to be spoken of again within this time frame, beast of a man who was capable of killing. That's how that had to be. And he didn't like being that man, but he was going to be in those moments. And that would be the weirdest thing in the world. You're taping his wrists.
I have to mourn my own death in a minute.
He's sniffling. You're like, what's Mike? You all right? What's wrong? Don't ask questions.
I have to kill Mike. I have to kill him.
Yeah. It's paid handsomely. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
He'll be back.
How shall we solve for the future with our friends at ISF? What will it be that we tab this week? I don't know.
There's a question in the chat, not too far up the docket, but I can't find it right now. It was about next year. And what do I have to look forward to next season? Because I'm having a hard time finding that answer right here, right now.
Yeah, you got to live in the moment, man. You're going to have to live in the right here, right now, which you despise because every Saturday is another running kick to the boys. But that said, and he said, is there anything positive we can look at to be optimistic about for next season? I have trouble finding one thing. Yeah, I've not washed my hands just yet of the young quarterbacks. I do think that you saw real arm talent with Kromenhoek. I think you see a toughness and some skills that I enjoy watching play out with Brock. I don't think he hasn't shown me that he's going to be elite, but it's still way too early to decide what a guy is or is not at this stage of their career. One's a redshirt freshman and the other one is a true freshman. So that would be silly to go ahead and cast them off with the lot of suck that we've seen all around them right now. I'm still holding on that one of those two is going to emerge as a player, and I'm going to watch that growth. I think Kromenhoek is the more likely candidate to emerge as the better of the two players. That's my opinion on those two guys as we sit here today. I also would tell you that, man, how are you not excited about the two young tight ends? How are you not excited about many of those kids in the secondary that I think can play? Again, you might retort, well, we're going to have to coach them better. Yeah, we are.
Got to keep them.
Got to keep them and coach them better. Sure. But they're not lacking talent.
I think Danzy, for me,
that
speed.
Yeah. Ironically, for a position group that is rightfully maligned, not much maligned, but rightfully maligned, receiving corps, I think you can go over there too. I think Elijah Moore, LaWayne McCoy. I think that Gibson. I think that I still think Hakeem's going to emerge as a plus player. That may be a group that I can put eyes on and say, all right, I feel okay about them.
You can also take solace in the fact, I believe this, I'll be stunned if it doesn't go this way. It's going to be different next year. I don't know how much, better, but what I'm saying is...
Oh, well, Tom, I don't think they're going to go 2-10 again.
No, but what I'm saying is that there was a futility early in the season, as early as game 3. As early as the third game of the season where you're saying, it's just, this is what they are. They're rolling out the same ingredients, hoping for a different meal, a different tasting meal. And next year, I have to imagine that a lot of the stories we're going to tell, a lot of the interviews that we're going to conduct are about many coaches brand new to the program, instilling their values, instilling their methods and their tactics. And it could be a position coach, it could be a coordinator, whatever. But you're going to have that to say, at least it's not the same cast of characters hoping that they're going to get something different done.
ISF excels in this very thing, Tom. There's something that they do called organizational transformation. And what better time is there to collaborate with our friends at ISF than at a time where Florida State in particular needs their help for organizational transformation, which would help optimize your operational performance, as the name implies, to make the best use of your human capital and drive meaningful change. God bless you, ISF.
I feel like they're already in as the sponsor of the series of the new coach interviews.
They're going to provide solutions to address all of the problems within recruitment, for example. Hiring, for example. Some might say in the business world that would be onboarding too. Talent development. How perfect is this relationship bond going to be with ISF and Florida State football? It's a match made in heaven. It is organizational transformation. Thanks to our friends at ISF. Watch it play out. I don't know that you're going to look forward to all of it, but certainly the kind of change that's going to take place is going to be interesting. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, he's fired at the end of next year. If it does, get to keep the guy that I think we all like. It's kind of that simple.
Either way, it's going to be new. It's going to be transformed.
I do. By the way, that I do believe you've got next year. That is the last of the years that you have. There is not 2 years to turn this around. You've got next year. You got to pass because of the 12-0 regular season / 13-0 conference championship snub, drubbing, whatever you say. You got to pass to some degree. 2 things saved you. The money, the extension, all those things saved you, but the reputational build of having flipped the program around and won. A lot of guys get fired in debacles like this because there's nothing to fall back on that showed any proof that you could transform. But he did.
And a lot of guys get fired because they bring the organization to the precipice of that moment, of that championship moment, but then they can't finish and take that final step. And so while they're there, they're always the bridesmaid, and John Gruden has to come in and win a Super Bowl for you, or Tony Dungy has to come into Indianapolis and help shore up the defense and win a Super Bowl for you. That happens a lot too. But the problem is we don't celebrate the conference championship. We don't celebrate that season because we didn't get 12 hours to even enjoy it.
No, we got screwed. But we also don't celebrate it because we didn't spend a lot of time this year after victories reflecting on what a great run it's been. Instead, we were left to wonder, how come this is ending so quickly?
100%. But it ended quickly on 2 fronts. And this isn't even about the Invitational. This is about you're unable to reflect on that championship season in the way you reflect on every single other conference championship season you've had. You can't do it.
Yeah, because the next day.
Because you in real time, you never were able to appreciate it. You went to bed probably pretty late because you were celebrating. And by the time you had the crap out of your eyes and you had a cup of coffee, we're out. Like it's over.
The sleep out of your eyes. You wipe the sleep out of your eyes, what people say.
The schmutz.
It's the crust. You crust, sleep. People call it sleep. You can call it that. It's not crap.
It's a schmutz.
Get the schmutz out of your eyes.
Yeah.
By the time you've got the sleep out of your eyes, you were told of.
Sometimes it's really sharp too. You got to be very careful.
Crusty. You can pierce your eye. As a man who wears contacts, when I sometimes go to put contacts in first thing in the morning after I get up, if there's a little bit of that crust, I'm like, I trapped it. It's one of the weird things that you have to learn how to do. Buddy, it's amazing what you can do with your eyes that you never thought possible. Tom, you can grab that solution that you use to put your contacts in, and after a while, you can just go and shoot it in your eye, and it doesn't bother you. Like, got to clean them out. No problems. I can grab my eyeball and rub it around.
No!
I can. It translates the brain accepts it.
That was a torture in Ace Ventura when Nature Calls.
Oh yeah.
First he did the knife on the plate.
Yeah.
It's the guy who played the warden in Shawshank.
Yeah.
No, and then he just picks his eye and he starts moving it.
Yeah. So all of it. Anyhow. That's solving for the future with ISF. A little wayward track there at the end. There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and I've
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old Funny Paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Keith Lawson Services, or ABC Flooring. Tallahassee's leading supplier of in-stock, top-of-the-line ceramic, carpet, waterproof, and hardwood floors since 1990. At ABC Flooring, you can pick out your floor, and installation can begin in 48 hours. ABC Flooring is also the leading supplier of in-stock landlord property management products in the Panhandle. Visit their warehouse showroom on Capitol Circle Southeast or call 877-6600.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This Halloween season, guess who will be hiding under the bed? People that sell new compact cars, SUVs, and trucks. That's who. They're scared to death of Nissan's 2024 lineup. The reports are in. The new look Sentra is absolutely the best looking car you can buy for under $25,000. And the Nissan Titan is the only pickup truck on the market with 0% for 60 months and up to $8,000 off. Forbes Magazine, Wheels Division, test drove Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma in head-to-head competition. Their conclusion was that the winner for driving and handling was the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, hands down. And in an even scarier review, HotCars.com stated that the Nissan Rogue is one of the best-looking compact SUVs on the market. So if you drive an SUV or a truck, don't be afraid. Come test drive the best. Test drive a Nissan at Kraft. You see, in the midst of Halloween season, just like the rest of the year, Tallahassee's not a scary town. It's a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive in Tallahassee, or visit us at craftnissan.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Wrapping it up, but before we get set, another reminder that tonight, I should mention, around 5:30, this evening, is that a better way of phrasing it? This evening, we have the interactive hour. Tom and myself will join here at 5:30, and you guys can join us. We hope that you do. Brought to you by the Battle's End. You were just mentioning the game in Charlotte, and I was in a box with Ingram from the Battle's End, and we were enjoying the evening. What a fun night it was. Fellow Noles everywhere in that box. Z-Chan was there. We were able to all embrace in celebration that ACC championship together. The hard work that had been put in by the players, first and foremost, the coaches, and many people in that box that had contributed to the cause was reason for us to celebrate. And it was awfully nice kind of exiting the box and pouring out into the hallway where others part of this celebratory moment that have also contributed were there. And it was just box to box embrace.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great job by the Battle's End to scout the players and acquire the players. And, they did a great job of, telling the coaching staff to back off. Here's the guys that we're going to bring in because that's what it is, right?
Of course.
Yeah, the collectives do all that.
But it was fun. And, then we went out afterwards to celebrate. And we went to a lovely restaurant that was closed to everybody else. But the after-hours celebration with that crew, they could not keep the doors closed to. And up to the top of the roof we went, and I took the video, if you recall. It was awesome. And we certainly couldn't have known that we were all being set up. A ruse. All of it They were going to yank the carpet out from underneath us. And it wasn't until I was driving back from Charlotte that you called and said, we're going to need you. And I said, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And you said, yes.
So are we.
But we're about to be told, or so it seems, that we are not, despite being an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, headed to the playoff. And as that whisper grew louder, I looked for a spot, any spot to pull over. Somewhere that had Wi-Fi so that I could weigh in with you guys and talk about that screw job.
You got to get on that Yellowwood Wi-Fi.
It was a Dollar General, and my phone was about to die, so I had to just find a plug in the Dollar General the whole thing. Damn it, man. Tom writes, we need a gymnastics team. I just want something FSU to make me happy. Go Noles, go Magic, go Noles. Okay, Tom, I'll tell you, the baseball team made us happy last year, making it a way out to the College World Series and reaching the Final Four teams still playing, and how quickly that took place. That Link took a program at an all-time low and turned it into a Final Four in the major league, in college baseball. So that was cool. Women's soccer is steady winning championships for Florida State. Really, all of the non-revenue schools do great. Sports do great.
Yeah.
Track,
if softball can
soccer,
pinch a little bit,
softball,
they'll be back.
You name it, they all do really well. Golf is kicking ass, got to the finals. Final match. I mean, one after the other, you had reason to celebrate with all things not related to FSU football or basketball. Everything else was good. Well, I don't know how the swim team did. I never do. Justin, thank you. Tom, thank you. Justin writes, is Mike Norvell not playing Danzy, Moore, and Gibson because he doesn't want them to have game film to hit the portal with? Not sure what else makes sense. Thanks. Appreciate all you guys do. Thanks, Justin. No, because in the modern game, the modern era, guys can take their practice film, and if they had good practices against quality opponent, meaning first team defense, let's say, if you're a receiver, and use that to be able to leave and get offers from teams. Like, guys do acquire their own practice film. It does happen. If you have success in practice, you're able to relay that to people. They can find that out. They can seek that and see that. I don't think it's that. I think that I'm going to guess the situation with Danzy, Moore, and Gibson all has to do with right place. Can I trust you? Are you going to understand what you're looking at? Can a quarterback trust that you guys are on the same page against certain looks, and that you've learned enough in this offense to understand, if the safety's inside the hash or if they've come down, or, all these things, like what your responsibilities are. Because if you don't, we're going to be steady throwing pick sixes.
Or you could just say, screw the alignment of the defensive back, run your route.
Yeah, well, with Danzy, you could say that because of the speed. But I think he wants him to learn the position. He wants him to understand what they're doing. Go out there and maybe have a chance at succeeding. I think his thought was maybe in the second half of the season, when I get a sense that they know what they're doing, then we'll begin to play him more.
At this point, I would say,
I'd play them all. By the way, I'd play them all.
I don't think Elijah Moore has been out there, has he?
And I don't think he's one play.
One play?
One play.
You might be cognizant of the 4 games and the shirt for him at this point. Danzy, you've played enough that I think you're burning his shirt anyway. BJ Gibson, I don't. If he's on special teams, maybe. I don't know what the participation chart's like on special teams. But if those guys, let's say Gibson hadn't played for argument's sake, I don't know if he's participated on a kickoff team or whatever. But if he's got 4 left, then there's no sense in playing him the next 5. Make sure he retains the shirt. You're close enough to the end of the season. There's no sense in burning a guy's eligibility for 1 year for the sake of 1 extra game. I hate how that sounds, but we've got to manage. We've got to manage the long term at this point, not the short term.
Yeah, and also players are aware of what they
they are keenly aware.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for that. I mean, if I'm a player or a player's parents, I can tell you I would. Let's say Bryce goes and plays college football. I don't know if he will or he won't. I'm not saying that, but I mean, there's a chance. So let's say he goes and plays college football and he's at a place where things are not working out, and it's going to be. I mean, we're going to be leaving. I tell them, you damn sure aren't playing more than 4 games. Keep that red shirt in mind, buddy. I mean, yeah, you would absolutely instruct your son to do that. So players and their parents are well aware of the situation. Coaches are cognizant of that too. They don't want to screw kids over.
Yeah, that's a logical reason for maybe some of the usage. Although Dancy, I mean, again, he was a big part of the Clemson game plan. So I would think you might as well deploy his ass moving forward.
Yeah, and any of the kids that you feel like you're only going to have for 3 years anyhow, I suppose. The problem you really have is I think we have entered into the era where you're just not going to have. Here you go. I've got it here in front of me, Tom. Who are we asking about? What the hell? We got a minute and a half. I'll just do this.
Danzy, Gibson, Elijah Moore. Probably Elijah Moore would be the biggest headliner there.
Yeah, and this is 2023. Thanks. I just realized it was 2023. Damn it, man. Sorry, guys. But we can. Florida State does have, if you go to Seminoles.com, their cumulative statistics. You can go game by game. You can go to participation, and it'll tell you games played. So, like, obviously last year, if you pulled this up, you'd see Trey Benson, 13. Even like Shaheem Brown, 13. You'd see all that. Then you'd get into, Jalen Early played in 4 games last year. You'd have Malik Feaster played in 4 games last year. I'm just now looking, Tom. Daniel Lyons, 4 games last year. Aaron Hester, 3 games last year. Man, this has been just a disaster.
I don't see one for Elijah Moore before we sign off, but that could be just because he doesn't have a catch.
But they have participation somewhere. Maybe it's the end of the year where you do that. We can find it during the break. It doesn't make for good radio now. Last few seconds of the show anyhow. Good work out of you. We will see you for the happy hour at 5:30, everybody. Peace.
Homeowners, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I want to talk to you today about consolidating your debt. Are you struggling with your monthly expenses? Consumer spending and overall debt are reaching all-time highs, while homeowners are sitting on trillions